Hello there. Welcome back to the AgostinhoZinga show slash random show episode number 44, part 2. What's up, my friends and family? What's up, my friends and family? This is the earliest I've been today. I'm 2 minutes late. I wanted to get here just on time, but I wanted to prove some of you motherfuckers wrong. Like caseload of Moses, who was in the chat telling me that I was late, even though I put the time as 2:30. So I'm here to prove you wrong. Caseload Moses. I'm here somewhat on time. Hopefully, give me a pat on the back. Hopefully, give me a sticker. Hopefully, I get a medal. But it's great to see all of you guys nonetheless. Welcome back to the Random Show, episode number 44. Last time around, I did the show. My broadband died midstream, like super annoying. And because it's super late here, I couldn't get any technical support for it. So I kind of had to just put up with it. And then I couldn't do my show, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm back. And hopefully you guys will have a fun time listening and watching the things that I've gathered in terms of clips concerning all things The Fire and the Kid and some other general comedy scene type things. But big up everybody in the chat, big up everybody joining in. Hopefully you guys will have a good time on here and hopefully we will have a laugh or two. As per usual, the beer fund is in effect, so if you want to sponsor the beer fund and allow me to go get White Girl Wasted this weekend, all you have to do is contribute via the donate link, which is available in the chat at the top there. It takes you to Streamlabs, and then obviously that will come through and you'll see it in the bar below. If you just want to support by just making sure that you click the like and subscribe button, that'll be appreciated. Also, all support is more than appreciated. I love and support everybody that joins in the show, everybody subscribes, and everybody that has a good time. That is always appreciated. Big up everybody that's seen the chat so far. Big up Caseload Moses. Big up Unknown 777. Big up Mr. Singh, always and always here and supporting. Big up Nick. Big up Koila. Big up Yoshi. I appreciate every single one of you people who come out and hang out with me, because for the most part, all I do is talk out my ass. So I love it when you guys come and hang out. I really, really love it. Pray your hands. DSP style, pray your hands. Ace D's is saying, you see Nick Swartzen say Fio's podcast. Yes, of course, Ace D's. Come on, of course I've seen that. That's why I'm here. I want to talk about that stuff. So I'm going to go through all that type of stuff, the stuff that I missed out on in the last show. So I'm going to get through all of that. Don't worry. I've seen Nick Schwartzen. I've seen his epic little rant that was somewhat directed at Brendan, somewhat wasn't. Who knows? But it was a good little troll. I've definitely seen that. We'll talk about that. Big up MM. Big up DBA Dave, who says, "How did you like New Year's live stream? When did show me Bruce, Mr. Singh? When did Unique do a live stream, Mr. MM? Was that earlier on today? I haven't seen his live streams in a while. I did try and check out a couple here and there, but there was too much dead air, too much mumbling and gargling. It sounded like he's on mad stuff and whatnot. I couldn't really enjoy it, to be honest. It felt a little bit weird, kind of, entertaining or encouraging that sort of behavior. Again, I'm no one to talk because I do love to do the old drugs myself when I go out and have a good time. But seeing that guy on live stream get a little bit loaded was a bit too much for me. But I tune in here and there when I can, but for the most part, I can't handle watching it for too long. But yeah, did anything interesting happen on Unix's live stream that I should know about? Let me know in the chat if that is true. I'm gonna quickly take a sip of water. I actually just discovered this actually on my headphones. They're not the best actually. The sound's a bit terrible, but they actually have this little button here so you can mute the mic. All this time I've been drinking into the mic and gulping and stuff, and blowing you guys' ears and making you guys feel sick and all. And I didn't know that you could actually mute yourself before you drink. It's just a little flick of a wrist there. So yeah, so apologies for everybody that I had to subject to all that nonsense. I'm really sorry. I am really, really sorry. So many things to talk about, loads of things to get into. Hopefully you guys will be somewhat entertained by this stuff. As per usual, it's nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the blue. I'm just going across some of the top posts that I've seen on the Fire and the Kids subreddit that I think would be entertaining, because that's the best subreddit known to man, and then providing some of my commentary on top. So it's nothing out of the blue, so it's nothing extraordinary. It's not like a high production show or anything, but it's a good opportunity to just laugh and giggle at some of the stuff, because for the most part, these guys deserve to be laughed and giggled at because they're absolute redax. And please let me know in the chat below if my thing is skipping frames. I think it is here. It's telling me I'm skipping frames a lot. Oh, mate. I look rigidly, don't I? Is there a way to flipping turn the frame rate down or something in this? Because for some reason I look absolutely mad. It's not smooth. And I've got no windows open either, so it's not even to do with that. Let's see if there's a way to turn some stuff down because this looks mad at the moment. I'm stuttering all over the place. Okay, it's telling me I can't do it on there. How about video in here? Yep, I can't do anything in it. It's close everything. Damn. Yeah, frames are dropping a bit, people are saying here. Shiza Maliza. Oh, I could have probably put it down to it's 30 frames per second. Maybe I should put it down to 29. Maybe that might help, but I can't now. I have to end the stream and start again if I want to do that. So that's the only annoying part about it. Oh, this is so dumb, innit? So dumb. Let's see what happens if I try and close this and see if one more window does any change on it. I don't think it will, but let's see if it does make any change. It was working perfectly fine earlier. I did do a little test, but now when I went live on stream, it's telling me that I'm dropping frames and I've got my stream running here on my phone. It does look, I look a little bit jittery, to be honest. It does look the smoothest. Hopefully the audio is okay. That might be the only saving grace of the stream. If the audio is fine, then maybe we can just continue as is. But if it gets a little bit too crazy and you're not enjoying the visual effects of it, then please do let me know. Please do let me know. What's that? CXD Daniel says, did you what? Did already do the, yeah, the Fight Companion I already did already. I've got the clip uploaded. I'm going to put up on my channel, but that was on the first part of the show that I did last week, so I'm not going to repeat that again. When you said that the audio cut out, okay, great, but hopefully it's back now. Hopefully it's a bit better now. Hopefully it's not as bad. It doesn't look like it's dropping in frames. I got rid of one more thing, so hopefully it's okay. Let's hope. Now it's slow. Now it's slow show city. Okay, how about now? What about now? Is it better? It feels like it's a little bit better now because I've kind of taken away some windows, so maybe that might help some things here. But in general, anyway, Google Chrome, man, it takes away so much RAM, bruv. It's absolutely horrible, man. It's so RAM dependent. It sucks it bad. So yeah, hopefully it's better now. It feels like it's a little bit better. It feels like it's running okay. Hopefully you guys can hear and see me. Good. Anyway, let's jump onto the show. 7 minutes of rambling and postulating and all that malarkey is not the greatest thing, but if you're gonna watch this on the back end, you'll hopefully be happy. But if you're watching this live, this is a bit boring. So let's just jump right into it. First clip to get into. It looks like Brendan has got himself a hold of some sort of like 3D printed shoey thing that I guess Tai Tuivasa is selling, which is a little bit ridiculous because I feel like the whole point of the shoey is to drink it out of a fucking shoe, right? To get wasted and to be at the point where you're absolutely having a great time, where you'd think drinking a drink out of your shoe, right, is what you call it, what did I say to it? Where drinking a shoe is entertaining and it's going to bring you some sort of relative jokes, right? Now it's going to make people around you have a good time. It's going to make you have a good time. You're letting your hair down, don't take yourself too seriously. And obviously, if you're a badass UFC fighter, jumping on the cage and grabbing some random person's shoe and pouring a drink into it and drinking it after you just knock somebody out is an epic way to kind of seal the night. So that kind of ties into the whole thing. But then when you start getting these plastic 3D printed things and sticking them on top of drinks and pretending it's a shoe and then drinking it, it's ridiculous. It's not the same thing at all. But obviously, if there's anything Brendan will do, he will definitely take out the cool and something. So he took something that looked really cool, looked really badass, and made it look really, really corny and lame. And this is a clip that somebody uploaded on Fight the Kids subreddit where he starts to drink a beer from this weird plastic 3D printed shoe thing, and it just looks really odd to me, in my opinion. But let's just check it out and see what you guys think about it. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you guys can see. But I do think it looks a bit dodgy, looks a bit shit. And it maybe is a bit concerning that he's having such a big gulp of a drink so early in the morning. But hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
Should we do a shoey in honor of Ty getting it done?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
All right, let's try it. Good luck, Ty. This for you, buddy. Listen, I'm not great at chugging and stuff like that. I actually have a small throat, despite the rumors. All right, ready? Ready? Here we go.
My man's face is so inflated, isn't it? I think after seeing what you call it, what was I saying the other day? I saw a clip of DJ Academics talking on Vlad, right? He's got a few he's got an interview up on there, and obviously Vlad does the clips and whatnot. And you just saw the fucking thumbnail of DJ Academics' face and seeing how round it is. Obviously, he's always got that sort of like Alvin Chipmunk, it's kind of Tom and Jerry face, right? Really full. But obviously, in the last few years, he's been absolutely pounding the drinks. The more successful Academics has got, you know, the more richer he's got, the more flipping drink he's been drinking in terms of Hennessy and whatnot. And obviously, he's somebody who just sits at home and streams, doesn't really go outside, I feel like, for the most part. And, you know, he's relatively overweight, but his face is so fat, like really, really chunky. And most of it, you would assume, has to do with those late night Hennessy streams. And Brendan has the same sort of thing going on where his face is just, he's always had a really big head anyway, which is somewhat, I feel like it's a requisite of somebody that's a fighter or did, you know, NFL, did football or something. Yeah? They've always got really gigantic heads and big shoulders, right? So maybe it's a good base to take all that kind of, you know, hits or whatnot that you're going to be taking in your relative sport. But over time, his face is just puffed out. It's not even like solid. It's just really puffy and shit and whatever it may be. And hey, you know, when you're on stage 5 times a week and you're doing podcasts how many times he's doing and you're always drinking, it's probably not a surprise that your face is going to be somewhat puffy in it. But god damn it, it looks really, really inflamed. Like he, again, no homo, but he used to look really handsome. He was like a relatively good looking guy, especially compared to other stand up comedians. But now he just looks, I don't know, weird, innit? I don't know.
This is for Ty against Cyril Gahn.
Yeah, so it's a weird plastic shoe thing that you put over your drink, and then for some reason it's got a straw at the end of it. I don't know what that's about. Why does it have a straw at the end where the drink can also spill out? Makes no sense, really, does it? Don't you think so? What's this guy said? CXD Daniel says you can't even afford the internet to upload a photo. Interesting. Well, why would you say I can't afford the internet? Because my computer is running slow. That's interesting. Maybe I can't afford the internet to put a photo, but you know, I'm glad you're tuning in regardless anyway. But a weird insult nonetheless. You can't afford the internet. I guess maybe comparisons to Brendan. Like I can't be talking about Brendan if I can't upload smoothly enough on the internet or my streams keep dying. That's a relatively good point. Maybe that's a good point. There's some reason to be had in there. But still, I would much rather not do this and have slow internet than have fast internet and look the way he does, personally for me. And again, I just can't get around what this straw does. What's the point? I get the idea of putting the plastic shoe on top of a drink to pretend it's a trainer, but why is there a straw there? Maybe it's to ease the pressure. I don't really know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat below. What do you think the straw is meant to be for? Because it's a bit strange. Or maybe are you meant to drink out of the straw? But if you look at the top of the bottle thing, it's got this little cap on it where it looks like you're meant to suck on it, right? It kind of looks like a trainer here. So what do you think? Why is that straw there? Why is there a straw? Well, what do people think of the thing? You have to hold it up, not down. Okay, cool. So maybe that's why, right? Because he's not holding it at a proper like horizontal angle. Maybe that's the reason why. Anyway, let's continue. It's still spinning all over.
Oh shit!
Yo, and the thing about this, the funny thing about Brendan too, same with the Food Truck Diaries. When he's drinking or eating on his show, you know, usually when you're doing a show, you drink or eat as a kind of way to sort of tell a story. It's kind of part of the setup. You're not actually eating and drinking. He actually does eat and drink. Like Food Truck Diaries, he's absolutely sloshing down the food like he hasn't eaten all day. When he comes through on the show, he's definitely drinking. Like he definitely needs that drink at 9 in the morning or whenever he does do a filming of his podcast. It's absolutely bizarre. I can't get my head around it, especially for me, knowing that I do this podcast usually around my work schedule. I do it either before, yeah, I usually do it after work, not before work. You know, start work at 9. It's probably too late early to do it. I did do it in the past that time, but usually I really stay up really late, or I just do it after work. So sometimes it'll make sense to maybe have a drink, but I'm not. Today I'm actually having just the water, right? But it's mad that he absolutely guzzles the drinks and absolutely eats whatever he eats on air all the time, indulges himself. It's just crazy, man. It really is. Especially when you consider that I was an old school The Fighter the Kid fan, and I remember when Brendan used to brag about not drinking. He used to be like, you know, quite proud of himself that he didn't drink, he didn't get fucked up and stuff, and just did comedy and went up and did sets and stuff and was kind of showing everybody his athlete mentality in a comedy space, blah, blah, blah. But now he's basically turned into every other comedian, isn't it? Just uses stand-up or podcast as an excuse to run away from his troubles at home. And the extra stuff, like, it's like, what have you done really? That's not a shoey.
Oh.
God damn it, look at that. What a screen grab there, isn't it? Look at that. Look how inflamed these faces. That's the alcohol really does fuck you up, innit? Like, for real, let's be for real. Alcohol really is bad for you, innit? Like, he has aged horribly over the years just from drinking alone. He looks awful, legitimately awful. And imagine if on top of this he was doing like class A drugs, like he was on the coke, he was on the heroin, he was doing GHB, he was, whatever else he might be doing. Imagine if he was actually a party boy, how badly he would look on top of this. It's absolutely insane, man. And that's the thing I don't really understand, because if it was me and I had a free schedule and I was able to make tons of cash just talking in front of a microphone, in front of a camera and shit, and I had loads of loyal fans and I could make my own schedule, I'd want to look incredible. You know what I mean? I'd want to really like take advantage of it and do 2 a days, whatnot, 3 times a week, go on nice trips away, get in the sauna, do cold plunges, all that good stuff. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, not talk about it like Joe Rogan, but you'd want to look the part as well, because you're able to kind of take more liberties than the regular person. But for whatever reason, my man's just indulging. He's indulging to the 10th degree, which might be a good thing. Maybe that's the way to do things. But again, from being somebody that's a fan of T-Fat-K from the Fox days, to see how Brendan has aged and looks over the years is pretty bad. This is all the bees. He's got stung by all the bees. He got bit by all the blower fish, bitten by all the snakes. That is like an allergic reaction.
You should get buzzed real quick now.
Never met a little buzz.
Like every other day, innit? But yeah, that's Brendan Schaub doing a really weird fake shoey thing. I don't get the point of it. The whole point, like I said, of a shoey is to do it with an actual shoe when you're out partying, when you're having a good time, feeling the vibe, whatever it may be, not drinking it out of a weird 3D printed bottle type thing. It makes no sense. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Next on here, it says, Mr. Singh said, of course, he has a shoe-like product instead of a shoe, exactly. The other guy says, commenting from his mother's basement, says the other guy. Another person who's, what's your name here? Says, destroys for the air to push the drink faster through. Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, cool. I see this. He's pretending it's Joe Rogan's dick, says Chris Deshaw. Jess Fury, hey yo, big up Jess Fury, big up the legend that is Jess Fury. As per usual, everybody in the chat, please check out Jess Fury's channel. She has some really astute observation of all these comedy guys, way more smarter than the things I have to say concerning some of these guys. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and check out my girl Jess Fury's channel on YouTube. You shall enjoy, you shall like it. Nice camera. This is the same camera, Jess. Nothing's changed actually. I've just got it in a different angle with some light here at the top. Not the best anyway. I should have maybe another light that's maybe lighting me up from the bottom. Because if I had another light from the bottom, how would I look? Let me see if I put my phone camera light on. If I had another light at the bottom, so you probably could see a bit more of my chin, right? But I don't have any other light, so it's just a bit dark there. So maybe I need one more to come around here or something, so you can see the fullness of my face also. That's not full of drinks, it's filled with fucking Shake Shack burgers. But yeah, big up everybody, big up everybody. Let's move on. Next on the chat to talk about here, I wanted to speak about clearly, was this. Someone posted this on the Fire and the Kid subreddit, and it's a screenshot taken from a comedy club called Skyline, right? And it features the one and only Carlos Mencia back to back with Brendan Schaub. So one weekend there's Carlos, one weekend there's Brendan, playing absolutely legendary stuff if you're that way inclined, isn't it, right? Yeah, I think one weekend is him. So Carlos Mencia is doing a Thursday to a Saturday, and then Brendan's doing a Thursday to a Saturday the following week. The interesting thing for me is that, again, I know Carlos Mencia is the, what's he called? He is the sort of enfant terrible of the comedy scene, and people hate him and understand all the joke thief stuff is annoying and bad, and the way that he took people's material on the stage and did it, and basically took away the opportunity in the agency for them to do their own work, and blah 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 blah. Especially back then when no one really had, podcasting didn't really exist back then. So when Carlos Mencia did the things that he did, it could really negatively affect your kind of ability to make money and to be successful. Nowadays, that isn't necessarily the case, right? You can kind of, get by without having something like a Carlos Mencia ruin your career. But that aside, as a person, clearly he's a bit of an egomaniac. Clearly he's a bit of a narcissist. If you happen to see him on the Tiger Belly podcast with Bobby Lee, who was one of his old school friends, somebody who kind of did stand up to him to his own detriment, you could clearly see that, Carlos Mencia is a bit of a, he's not the greatest guy in the world, doesn't have any sort of self-reflection. Even now, he still thinks he's a victim. But to be completely honest, if you had to compare what he done and what Brendan's done in his short career, you could clearly say that Brendan has maybe demonstrated more reasons to be unlikable and more reasons for people to not trust him as a person vis-a-vis Carlos Mencia. I haven't heard any stories of Carlos Mencia trying to get into some other comics' wife's DMs. I've not heard of him stealing money, quote unquote. I've not heard of him doing any other shitty kind of thing, or talking bad about people on podcasts, whatever it may be. He's just kind of just does his own thing. He sort of kind of operates in his own little island. Doesn't really seem like he has many comedy peers or people that want to, there's not really a lot of comedians out there that say, oh, they hanged out with Carlos. They kind of just, pretend he doesn't really exist. So maybe it's a bit of a lonely existence in that regard. But when it comes to a human being, who do you guys really think is worse? Actually, from what we've seen, again, we don't know these people personally. Again, put that disclaimer out there. Everything that we've heard about Brendan could be a lie. It could be, it could be kind of maliciously kind of twanged to make us feel a certain way. I'm not really too sure. But from what we've seen so far of how they represent themselves online, I would say Brendan comes across as a far worse person than Carlos Mencia. But for some reason, not for some reason, I know why, because of Joe Rogan, he doesn't get the same level of stick that Carlos did. When again, it's not all, but all he really did was steal some jokes. It's bad, it's shitty. Obviously, goes against the code of being a stand-up comedian, but that's all he did. He didn't try and fuck someone else's wife. You know what I mean? He didn't try and get a blowy off another comedian in his truck. He just stole some jokes. And that's it. And eventually he got kicked out of the little, cool club, and now he's on his own. But Brendan did all those shitty things, but still people make excuses for him. They bend over backwards. They try and explain it away, say he's a good guy, blah, 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 without acknowledging that he has done some shitty things. So I want you guys to know in the chat below, what do you think? Who is the worst person? Carlos Mencia or Brendan Schaub? Who comes across the worst? I'd love to know what you guys think. Carlos is not that thin either in that pick. Yeah, of course. Joe, was it JRE Lizondo? Of course, I believe that. Kanye Ashdu. This is from 2001, says Mr. Singh. Do you think Brendan had even studied comedy enough to know the Joey Carlos? Yeah, I definitely do think so, because that Joey Carlos thing wasn't even a studied comedy thing. It was like a big thing, just a scene, right? It was like one of the big controversies that happened, and it kind of boosted Joe's profile, everybody else's profile, connected with the Comedy Store, blah, blah, blah. So I definitely think it was a big deal. I definitely think he would know what it was about, but I want to know what you guys think. Who is the worst person out of the two of them? I would definitely say Brendan, but I would love to know what you guys think in the chat. Do you think Carlos is the worst person, or do you think Brendan's the worst person? What's worse, stealing some jokes and maybe railroading some people's careers, big timing them, stealing stage time and all that stuff that people do, or Brendan Schaub basically trying to fuck people's wives and girlfriends? What do you think the vibe is? Joe did it out of jealousy too, not just truth. Yeah, I don't know about the jealousy type of thing. I don't know if Joe Rogan was jealous of Carlos Mencia. I doubt it. I think they were there in two different lanes. I don't think their comedy fans overlap in the slightest, even though Carlos is getting all the love from the mainstream. I don't ever get the feeling that Joe was trying to be as commercially successful as Carlos was when he was successful. I think Joe just wanted to kind of create his own little niche, and obviously he was getting paid pretty well for the podcast tour back then in those times. And obviously his residuals from that show he did, was it News Radio and whatnot. So I don't necessarily think he was jealous with Carlos. I don't think so. I just think it was generally an annoyance thing, clearly, because essentially what Carlos was doing was he was punking them, right, by stealing their jokes. And Joe being an alpha, he didn't feel like, I'm not going to get bullied. I'm not going to have you punk my friends and make them feel shitty. So he basically stood up for his friends. I think so. What people saying here, Carlos stole jokes, says BB Cole, but he actually did the work of a comedian. He did the clubs, he worked the rooms, Brendan never did. Agreed. Magnet Thatcher says, wouldn't say it boosted Joe's profile. He got banned from the Comedy Store. It's only in retrospect that Joe's come out of it the right way. You reckon so? Yeah, I remember. I know he got banned. I know that Mitzi ended up choosing Carlos over him because he was the bigger, comedian. But I still think it kind of added to his notoriety, that video. Because I remember when it came out, that video was viral at the time. Mr. Singh said he seems envious in subtle ways. Fair enough. Dan David Cantor said Joe Rogan choking Cynthia Levin is worse. Oh yeah, that's That's a mad one. I'm not going to go over that one again. Uche says this was an interesting video that came out today about Rogan and Howard Stern's beef on the Lazy Channel. Had no idea about it. Oh yeah, I want to check that actually. That Lazy Channel is really good, man. Too to try. The guy's monotone and dead as hell, but he's really good content and he's consistent as hell. Definitely check him out. Too late to try. I like that channel. Shed Cow said I hate who BS is. Just for that Guru BB says Cow said I can't say for that from Mancia. Yes, I was going to Rogan. It's cool. But yeah, I think Brendan's worse. But again, I just might be in a minority there, and I might be a bit biased given the stuff that I put out on my channel. Anyway, moving on. Somebody in the Fighter Kid community, a really talented animator who unfortunately deleted their account when they uploaded the post. So I can't give the guy a shout out, but guy or girl, but they uploaded this pretty cool animation which features some of the big moments courtesy of the Fighter and the Kid history, all animated, and it's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to watch this together and have some laughs because I think this is absolutely banging. I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you can check out yourself. I'll also put the link in the clip when I then clip this up so you can check this out yourself. But this is really flipping good. It's featured on the Fighter and the Kid subreddit. I think it's one of the top posters pinned, so definitely check this out if you haven't already. But we're going to watch this and go through it. It's about 7 minutes long. Might not watch the whole thing, but definitely check out some of it. I think it's absolutely banging, man. The talent on that flipping subreddit is absolutely insane. Give us a
So I had a roommate who was the biggest bitch on the team. I ate like one Triscuit, and then I come home and he put sticky notes all over his entire food. So what I do, I eat all of it and I throw out the rest. I'm ready to throw down, right? I'm like, right, I'm just gonna fuck this dude up.
You know what, right? You know this story. This story was so insane. Even at the time, I remember this is when I was a fan of the show. When they used to do the show on Fox and they sit on that table where they were side by side. I legitimately was like, how the hell can you get that annoyed over somebody, not wanting you to eat their food? I couldn't wrap it. I couldn't get around my head. It was really odd. I remember, because don't get me wrong, I do remember visiting some friends in their dorms and going to their kitchens and being a bit weirded out when you see certain things wrapped in plastic bags or covered in cling film and shit or foil. It was a bit strange, but you kind of got it, right? They're living in this big flipping university dorm. They share a kitchen. You do your own weekly shop. You don't want people stealing your peanut butter or your eggs or whatever you fucking buy for your weekly shop and shit. It can get a bit annoying, especially when you make the effort to go and buy it. People are just nicking it because they don't kind of bother to go and buy it because they have the money but just kind of bother to leave. They're flipping dorms. But I never understood the way he was putting it, like as if like he got offended, like it pissed him off that the food was wrapped. Like what you meant? Is it communal or something? I didn't understand it at the time, and I'm glad that now, many years on, people have now realized how flipping insane this story was in general.
Phone's ringing like nonstop. What the fuck? I answer it. It's his mom. You gotta pay it back. You need to apologize. I'm like, fuck off. Hung up the phone. Which you talk to my mom like that, I'm gonna rip your face off. Of course. Which is all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to fight this. Yeah. I walk in. And I'm like, all right, man. Car got broken into because you want to be a bitch. We're gonna fight right now. I'm gonna fuck you up. He goes, I'm not fighting you. Ace Ventura 2 style. Loogie right in his face. We're face to face. Wow. He does not.
Oh my god, look at Brian Callen. Look at the illustration of Brian Callen. He looks like an old, decrepit man. Look at him.
Wow. Nice. Grabbed him and threw him through our glass door. Shattered our glass door out the back. Then I went to practice.
Look at Brian Callen. Honestly, this illustrator, please make yourself be known. I know you deleted your account, but please make yourself be known. You deserve a shout out. Oh my god, this is so good.
And told the entire team what happened. I'm a good person. I'm a good fucking person, man. I'm a good guy, man. He said, Bubba, take it from me. I'm too nice. I get taken advantage of all the time. All the time. You know this. All the time. I'm so nice.
Homeless. Homeless people don't matter. I'll get it. That's amazing.
I stood back to groceries, and there's a kid with Down syndrome who was bagging them too. I hated my life and my job there, so I'd grab all the new magazines and candy and donuts, just sit in the bathroom, crumple up the magazines, and then I'd put the magazines back, and finally at a meeting.
Do you know how insane that is? Actually, as a story, I understand working retail. I've worked retail, right? And there's shitty jobs. But do you know how insane it is to be so annoyed at your job place that you work at that you take magazines from the magazine rack and crinkle them up and then put them back because you just hate your job? I get sometimes taking magazines and just reading them. I used to do it all the time on lunch break, right? I'd work in a supermarket and there'd be football magazines or fashion magazines and shit or newspapers, and you might take one to the back to read on your lunch break and then sneak it back and put it back. But you wouldn't crumple it up, or if you want to, you'd steal it to take it home because it was a magazine that was like £4. You're not going to pay for it. But to just damage the property just because you hate it and put it back is so weird. It's like opening a tub of ice cream in the shop and licking it just because you don't like where you work. It's like, what? That's super bizarre, isn't it? Like,
And they were like, hey, whoever the fuck is ruining the mags and everything, this is a problem. It's someone inside. It's an inside job doing this. And I thought,
oh my God.
Good kid with Down syndrome.
Oh no.
I think it's Jerry.
Oh my God.
Imagine what a piece of shit you have to be to do what he did anyway. Creep up the magazines, piss all over them, shit all over them, beat them, whatever it may be, and then blame the kid with Down syndrome. Do you know how insane that has to be for you to be of a person to do that to someone? Do you know how insane you have to be? Like, it's not even like you hate your job. You also hate that person that you have to do that to them.
What is poppin', thickies? What's one thing everyone hates around the world? Bullies.
It's amazing.
You said that my career was going to be over, that you were going to expose me
Oh
to...
my God, look how good this illustration is. Outside the comedy store. This is so good.
Logan and all these people, and that I should get a lawyer.
Brandon he's got no right to remove this content. It's not his content.
There's an absolutely awful comedian named Brendan Schaub.
Oh my God, look. I just realized. You know what that is? Is that it? Remedial massage. Do you remember when Brendan said something like he had some sort of addiction to fucking getting happy endings or something? I don't really know how did that come out? Did he just admit it himself? Or did he get exposed somehow? Do you remember that was a thing where he got where he said he was addicted to happy endings and you go to loads of different places, and I think he revealed there's some sort of map that you could use, right? This sort of search engine in America that lets you find different places where they do happy endings or whatever it may be. I don't know if you guys remember this whole thing, but that was definitely a arc in the Fighting the Kid history. Brendan Shaw being addicted to happy endings. Obviously he would be in it. Like, clearly he's that kind of guy. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Content. It's not his content.
There's an absolutely awful comedian named Brendan Schaub who is currently suing a
Oh
small
my
YouTuber
God,
over
so
jokes they
good.
made about him.
My video on Schaub's Gringo Poppy special received a Content ID claim.
Look at BGO hiding in the bushes. Look at BGO hiding in the bushes. Oh my God, this is incredible. Look at BGO in the bushes over there at the back.
Just 2
He's
days
abusing
after
the YouTube DMCA copyright system to
Oh my
take down
God.
videos that are making fun
Oh,
of
it's
him.
my truck.
I'm not kidding you.
I am being sued by Brendan Schaub.
If you go personal, I see you in the street, well, there's going to be repercussions.
It was at a level 10 of rage.
It was Brian Callen.
Oh my, look, the disrespect to Brian Callen is so good. Look how horrible he looks. How old and decrepit he does surrounded by these guys. Brendan's lips, the face, Crystalia's crazy hairline. Oh my days.
I'm a good fucking person now.
This cop or he's a soldier had a canine. Wrote me a long email saying, I've always loved your work. I had to stop and punch my car's window because my dog died on my chest because it was my service dog, I guess in the military. And you played that and you guys were actually making light of it.
But I'm sorry. If that caused you to turn off the show, we don't need you. This is.
Oh, do you remember when he was this? Do you remember when that guy actually emailed in when they shared a show? He shared a story about throwing a guy through the window, and some concerned Fighting the Kid fan written a really compassionate, considerate, constructive email, basically highlighting why he thinks that story made Brendan look like an absolute douchebag, and Brendan's face was all scrunched up and he couldn't handle it, and he just angry. Do you remember the whole that? I think might be another point where I started to lose my love for the show. I was like, hold on, why is he reacting so negatively behind that? Why is he getting so defensive? You clearly came across like a douche. Why are you not taking on board what this guy's saying in a really nice and reasonable way? And then he just kind of, just didn't really take it and just was being a real douche about it. Madness.
Isn't the show for you?
You're finally going after anyone who harasses you online, including comics. That you have spent $500,000 on monster lawyers, and that you have friends in dark places who are going to get the job done.
Local comics, so you can't play me through my comic scene. So they're saying, allegedly, the Fire and the Kid subreddit people are saying that this C-Clamp person was Nick Schwartzen, because Nick goes really hard at Brendan with the jokes. Like, he keeps going. Like, he's like how Theo used to be when he first met Brendan. Remember when they first started doing The King and the Sting? Like, Theo would go at Brendan hard, and I think personally Brendan had a word with him and told him to ease up a little bit. So now the King of the Sting is turned into just another podcast that he does with fucking Theo, Eric Griffin, and fucking Chris Lee. It's not really a roast session anymore, which is kind of the whole point of it's gone. But there was a period of time when he was going at him aggressively, and I think Nick was one of the guys that would do it all the time when he went on the show, to the point where, we all know that Brendan's got thin skin and can't laugh at himself. I'm sure it kind of started getting to him. And I can imagine when they met each other in real life, outside of clubs and stuff, or at clubs, and just fucking around, I'm sure Nick will just be jokey and, do what comedians do and be ribbing him, not knowing that Brendan doesn't play those games. He doesn't like people being joked at, he doesn't like being laughed at in the slightest. So people are thinking the story he shared one time on the Fire and the Kiss podcast about him having to C-clamp and basically squeeze a guy's arm and pull him to the corner and tell him if he doesn't keep fucking over, he's gonna fucking Chris Benoit him, was definitely Nick Schwartzen. People are alleging that. I'm not sure who it is. It could be anybody. But the fact that Brendan would get physical with a fucking stand-up comedian that looks like Nick Schwartzen and threaten him physically says a lot about the guy in general. Like, you can't defeat him with your words. So you have to get physical with someone that looks like Nick Schwartzen. Come on.
Okay, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, like, is that
thick boy with a thinnest skin? Exactly, so true.
Nice.
Those are good. All of this stuff would make incredible graphics for a T-shirt. This is probably what Andrew Schultz means about him embracing the memes and stuff, right? If he could laugh at himself, he would take all this stuff and make them into shirts. That really weird face he has with the lips and stuff, this would be great merch to fucking be wearing, to make into logos, into pins, not all the fucking weird donut stuff he has going on and the other crazy, cringy flips of sports merch. This actual creative things would look actually good. Even it would make for good little cartoons they could feature on their channel, but again, cannot laugh at himself. Pathologically lying.
Brendan Schaub is a
comedy. Welcome to the new era of MMA comedy. Arcs go. So good. Licking his lips. I love as well the exaggerated lips. What do you guys think about the theory that Brendan got his lips done? Do you guys believe that? There's a theory going around in the subreddit that his lips didn't look like this all the time, especially when he's in the UFC. That since the UFC, of course his face has got fatter, but your lips don't get fatter if you gain more weight. Well, not that I know of anyway, because I've been up and down in my weight too, and my lips never got fatter, just my fucking face and my fucking, body and whatnot. But over time, especially his top lip has got way more fatter and fuller. And people are alleging that he might have got lip fillers, which is crazy, right? To think that a former UFC fighter, a former professional, football player, a proper alpha, strongman kind of guy would go and get their lips done. It's just like, what? What the fuck? Maybe he went along with his wife when she was getting her work done, allegedly, who knows? But that's a theory going around that he got his lips done. I'm not too sure if he did. I don't want to throw it out there like he didn't, but it's just interesting to see the difference of what he looked like pre-UFC, or in the UFC, and then once he got into comedy and started being an LA type of guy, his lips, because he's always had a big bottom lip, similar to what Big J had his brother. He's got like a little, a little droopy lip, but they've always got big, but never two big full lips, as in like, looking like a Instagram foot or whatnot. I don't know, who knows, but it's just funny to exaggerate here and there as well. Repercussions. Oh yeah, repercussions.
What's up, Dallas?
Gringo Pappy, like the stage. Look at that. So good. Cybersecurity division. BGL push. Honestly, oh look, you know what they done as well? This card is amazing illustration. Look how they made BGL's feet really small. So there's a meme going around because I think someone shared. What did they share? I think somebody shared a video, an old video of BGL doing some sort of fitness thing, like in a format like BGL has done everything. I feel like BGL has done everything to try and make it in Hollywood or try and make it in some sort of entertainment industry or to work for himself. He's done everything. He's done adverts. He's done commercials. He's done YouTube skits. He's filmed, stuff, whatever. He's done everything under the sun when it comes to Hollywood to try and make it. And so far, nothing's really stuck, which might explain why he's such a big sort of like fan and is, essentially, Brendan Schaub's flipping cockholster, because Brendan legitimately has provided him an opportunity to really kind of cement himself and kind of propel his profile or, get himself out there or, allow him to do other things that he wants to do, blah, 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 blah. But Brendan's definitely been a big help in the state of his careers at the moment. But anyway, there's all these videos coming out of, BGL pre-Brendan Schaub. And I think he was doing some fitness thing. And the first thing people noticed was that he was doing it barefooted and his feet were really small. Like, in proportion to how big he is, obviously, in real life, or how muscular he looks. And obviously, he had an insecurity about himself. So I think he lied and said, like, he was a US 11 or something. But clearly, he looks like he might be a US 8, which is crazy considering how big he is. But also might explain because, he clearly is steroid enhanced or something. So maybe his size is so crazy considering how his frame is, that his feet will look a bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, he's not really a big guy anyway. So maybe his feet are in proportion to actually his size or what he's actually meant to look like, small and wiry. But because he's huge, his feet look really disproportionate. But I think this is absolutely incredible little touch with the small feet there. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Wait a minute. Using an RX modulator, I might be able to conduct a mainframe cell direct and hack the uplink to the download.
What are the little leaves in his hair and the lips as well? So good. Small feet dangling. Penetration. Triangulating, see if it's called the moves. The patience. Yo, do you know how this is better than any piece of content I've seen from Thick Boy Enterprises Media Group, whatever they're fucking called, ever. This is better than anything they've ever put out. That includes the Fire and the Kid 3D, which I actually enjoyed. Back then when it came out, I was actually a fan of the show. I actually enjoyed Fire and the Kid 3D. But this is better than anything else they've ever put out. This is so well done. This is absolutely incredible.
This is what's interesting. Explain this however you want. When I notified you guys...
Oh my God, look at the poster. Not nice. You've got Ariel, you've got BC, Kalila, you've got Ronda Rousey's guy, Annie Lederman, the Legion of Skanks guys, Bobby Lee, Schultz, Bert, Joe Rogan. Nice and not nice. That pronunciation is going to be legendary, isn't it? That's not nice, with the little hand on the shoulder. Hand on the chest, sorry. That's not nice. Is that nice? What does it affect? Honestly, the details of this is so fucking good. Look, there's Gigi Lopez. There's a flipping for the Tiger Whiskey, I think maybe there in the background. The detail on this is so good, man. Honestly, wow. I don't get. The only thing I don't get is the Batman costume. What's this a reference to? If anyone knows in the chat, why is Brendan wearing a Batman costume here? I'm not sure what that reference is.
Harassment and going back to Tiger Belly, that account stopped posting, took the Tiger Belly email off, and changed it. It's never posted again.
Do you know how Reddit works?
No.
Legend. The most legendary exchange ever. Honestly, the most legendary exchange ever. Do you know how Reddit works? at the end of that rent, and then he's like, no. Look how attractive the illustration of Kalila is, by the way. She looks really cute here, isn't it? No? That's a really good illustration of her, isn't it? She looks smoking here, isn't it? No? Nice full lips, the cheekbones and shit, little earrings.
Do you know how Reddit works?
No.
This has been a blockbuster production, amazing. Hey photographers, you're a blockbuster. Hey photographers, you're a blockbuster. Absolutely incredible, that guy, man. If you haven't already, it's absolutely incredible work. Is there more on it? There's a little bit more here, pictures and stuff. Oh, I love this. This is like copying the end of Dave Chappelle's comedy special, right? Where he's got all these pictures of his friends and family and stuff, and people that contribute to the show, loads of stuff and clips from the absolute animation itself. This is pretty cool, man. Whoever this illustrator that did it deserves a lot of fucking praise. Honestly, like really compliments Robert Lee. Look at the email they've used. Compliments Robert E. Lee at reddit.darkweb.biz. Absolutely incredible work from whoever this person is that put it together. Absolutely barnstorming work. A+ quality content as per usual. The Find the Kid subreddit proving once again that they are the greatest subreddit that's ever existed in the detractor community or whatever you want to call it, man. Wow, wow, wow. And again, if Brendan could laugh at himself, this would be someone to tap into, use to create merch, to create little shorts and put them out on social. It'd be absolutely hilarious. He'd make bucket loads of cash, would increase his profile. People would be way more likable, but you know, he'll see something like that and want to fucking get it banned or whatnot. But that was absolutely incredible, man. Check it out if you haven't already. It's titled as this. It's already pinned on the Find the Kid subreddit. It's called Hey Gang. Also a big fan of the show. I animated some of my favorite moments. So yeah, definitely check it out. But the person's account's been deleted. I don't know what their name is, but if you haven't already seen it, please do check it out. It's really fucking good, man. Absolutely incredible. Oh man, big up him. What are people saying here in the chat? What are you guys saying in the chat? Coyle saying if not for her, Bobby would have probably just appointed for no reason to Brennan. Yep, for sure. I think this is in comparison to what Jess said, about Kalila holding it down, right? Yeah, Kalila held it down in the interview with the hard questions. Yeah, for sure. Kalila did a great job in the interview. I honestly don't understand the hate that exists for Kalila online. There's a weird community of people. I remember when the whole beef was happening, I stumbled upon a subreddit that was dedicated to just ripping Kalila. Have you guys seen it? I'm not sure what it's called, but the whole subreddit is just people posting clips about her saying, clips of her talking about her past and how she used to fuck guys and who she hooked up with, like loads of shit. It was very interesting to see that there's a community of people that really hate Kalila and think that she's the worst thing to happen to Bobby Lee, which is demonstrably not true. Especially somebody else. I'm not even a big fan of the show, and I can even tell that Bobby Lee definitely has a lot to thank her for his success, because she clearly, introduced some level of organization, scheduling, consistency and whatnot in whatever he did. He's still the talent, I'm sure. Bobby would have still been successful regardless. But to say that Kalila didn't add anything to Bobby's career or life is really strange. But there's a very strange community around it. I don't really sure why, but people seem to really hate Kalila. But I don't really see. Maybe she's got a reason to be hated. I'm sure there's reasons for her. But when it comes to the whole Brendan Shaw thing, I don't think she did anything wrong. I still don't understand this idea that she shouldn't have spoke about it. Why shouldn't she speak about it if it happened to her too? I don't understand that. But regardless, I think some people just have it in for her. Maybe again it's because Stevie Weeby, because he's another one that doesn't really get enough criticism for the whole, diabolical affair that happened between all those kind of guys, because he played a big part in it, because he essentially, it felt like he was the guy that was feeding the information back to Brendan that she was a slag or slut, that she was easy, that she was a gold digger. I think he was definitely the one that was feeding it back, because I remember Bobby saying something like Stevie played a part and said something. I forgot what Bobby said about it, but Stevie definitely played some part in kind of spreading or perpetuating the image of her being a somewhat bad person. But I just don't understand it. I really don't get what the whole thing is about Kalila being awful. It really, really strange. Of all the women that exist in comedy, Kalila seems like the most harmless, I think, in the most part. I don't really know. Maybe I'm not seeing it the right way. I don't get it. But it's interesting too, because whenever you try and defend or try and stand up for Kalila, immediately people that don't like her say that you're a cuck and you're only saying it because she's hot or something. It's like, I don't even think she's like that hot even. Like, not saying, not saying she's fucking ugly or whatnot, but I don't even get the idea that she's somehow this like drop dead model or something. She looks okay. She's attractive, of course, for a comedian's kind of wife or girlfriend, clearly. Bobby was punching above his weight, but she's not attractive enough to like suspend all common sense and rationale. She's just a generally pretty Asian lady who seems to be really into comedy as well. And again, I just don't get the hate. I really don't. It's really bizarre, personally, for me. But, everyone's got their thing in it, I guess. People are saying here, Uche is saying, Kalila left Bobby Lee better than she found him. Exactly, period. That the hate she gets is unprecedented, of course. Just says, I think she's tired, tried her best she can while managing such a toxic scene and such a weird ego plot. Of course, man. Can you imagine? Because I think Kalila is just a normie, personally, for me. She strikes me as a normal person. Like a normie, like a girl that just happened to be in love with comedy, happened to look the way she looks, and just got into it because she fancied that guy in Bobby Lee and they got a relationship. But imagine coming into comedy as a normie girl and trying to navigate all the weird politics and ego that exists in it. It's going to be really strange. Frankenstein, says, peeps love her low-key. Trash Tuesday is best without her. Really? Do you watch Trash Tuesday? Do you honestly think when she's not on the show is better? I think the chemistry between the three of them is really good, actually. What is it? Esther, Annie, and Kalila. I think they work off each other really well from the clips that I've seen. David Cantu says maybe they're hating on her because she's riding on Bobby Lee's coattails. It's not fair to say she's riding on Bobby Lee's coattails. Bobby Lee's obviously the talent. He's obviously supremely talented at what he does, and she's just facilitating that. I don't think she's riding his coattails. She's just helping him along the way, and if she can make a bit of money on her side herself, why not? Admas Grove says Kalila wrote them scary poems. Frank Kinsey said, shout out AZ. That's a great vid on her by a channel called XLP. You may react to it now. What, as in a bad video about her? If it's a bad video, I'll just check it out another time. I can't bother to watch all that shit at the moment. I'll save it for another time. I'll definitely check it out. XLP called Marty Moose. Big up Marty Moose in the house. Nice to see you, my friend. But yeah, let's move on. What's interesting, Trust You Day is good. The last episode with Santino was awesome. Okay, cool. I'll check that out. I haven't seen him. Santino's usually good around. Santino, again, this is a comment I want to make to keep in context. Santino is really underrated when it comes to podcasts. I think his podcast, what's it called? I forgot the name of it. But anyway, his podcast is generally good. I think he does generally good interviews. And I think he's a really good guest on the podcast. He really is really funny, I think, in my opinion. He's very underrated within that little scene. I think he kind of gets overlooked a little bit because maybe he's not as showy or as kind of he doesn't market himself as much as everybody else. I don't know. But I think he's really underrated, Andrew Santino. I'm a big fan of his. I definitely, even I don't remember his podcast name, I do like him a lot. I do like him a lot. Let's continue. So let's see all this stuff about Nick Schwartzen. So Nick Schwartzen was on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he had some very interesting things to say about our guy Brendan Schaub and all that stuff regarding him. So let's check out what Nick Schwartzen had to say regarding everything, because this has been really, really funny to watch from the outside in. I'm not going to lie. So this is Nick Schwartzen on Theo Vaughn's podcast. Again, a clip taken from the Frightened Kids subreddit as per usual. Let's see in this first clip what he has to say.
She was just sitting there like fucking Brian Callen, you know what I mean? Just waiting to get drilled by fucking Schaub. Just sitting there, fucking Schaub, Thiefer Sutherland.
Yeah,
God,
dude.
that's what I call him.
Dang,
No,
bro.
I'm kidding. There was a bit about Schaub. Like, I guess he said, people say he stole some fajita joke from me.
Did he?
I don't care. It was just.
They're all so pussy, man. They say it, and then they have to retract it back. I get it, because day to day they live there. They have to interact with these people. You can't always be, what's that word called? You can't always be confrontational or cause problems and shit, because you have to see these people every day. But the fact that they always say a little bit of stuff and then kind of retract and say, I don't care, he's a great guy, I love him. It's just so fake and so fucking awful. I mean, I'd much rather someone say they don't like me or like me than this kind of wishy-washy middle shit. Because why would you bring it up if you didn't think if it's true? Like, why would you even mention it? You mentioned it without any encouragement and just said, no, I don't think it's true, though.
It's funny. I know Brendan. I don't care if he did, but I
Great
doubt
guy.
it. I mean, he's had fajitas.
Yeah, a lot of people have had fajitas, yeah. But I haven't seen, I don't know if I've even seen, I haven't seen that joke. It doesn't come to mind.
No, I mean, who fucking cares? She was just...
Who fucking cares, but you brought it up. Honestly, these comedians are fucking awful, but this joke about Brian Callen in the beginning, spreading his legs open wide for Brendan, is hilarious, especially when you think of the context that we're in now, where essentially Brian's career has been somewhat propped up and helped by Brendan, right? Especially post-rape allegations. He's basically had to bend over backwards and bend over for Brendan in order to kind of make sure he's able to make his payments or whatever alimony he has put together at the time, or just to keep the lights on, because clearly the Hollywood stuff is clearly over. And I think in general, clearly the rape is the worst thing in this situation and the victim. So, thoughts and feelings go out to the victim to accuse Brian of what they accused him of. But in terms of his career, that rape allegation has been the single worst thing to happen to his career and the show. I think already the dynamic between Brendan and Brian was also always going bad anyway. It was always kind of swaying towards Brendan being the Beyonce of the group and the star of the show, and kind of feeling himself and thinking like he cheated. No, he kind of completed the game and showing up all these comics like, look, I've came into the game. I'm only 2 years in. I've got a special. I'm touring the world. You guys are lazy. I'm showing you guys to do it. I'm setting a new trend. So he was feeling himself way too much to the point where the show became unwatchable. But ever since that rape allegation thing happened, the show's been unwatchable. Honestly, some of the clips are even hard to get through. It's ridiculously hard because Brian is essentially Brendan's cuck. Like, he has no real opinion, no real backbone. He doesn't really stand up or correct Brendan in any kind of way whatsoever, because that man is his daddy. Like, that man is his absolute daddy. And it's really awful to watch because Brendan's a man. I mean, Brian's approaching, 60 years of age. He's basically nearly double Brendan's age, but he's essentially turned into his subordinate, which is awful, because I feel like The Fighter and the Kid was the best when they were equal partners in it. It felt like, even though Brendan was maybe doing most of the podcast work, they still approached the show as in like they were both creative partners in some way, shape or form. But now it's definitely Brendan's show and Brian's the guest, as opposed to they both own and co-host the show, which is unfortunate if you're a fan of the show, because I honestly think it's unwatchable now. It really is awful. Beyond awfully bad. But hey, what can you do, Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just not to rape people, and then maybe you will be able to have a successful career and not have to rely on the charity of somebody like a Brendan, in it. But let's upload this one. This is another one that we're talking about giving Nick Schwartzen an apron, because it feels like another reference again to the Fighter and the Kid subreddit, a very not so subtle reference to the Fighter and the Kid subreddit.
The way I love P.F. Chang's. When you're on the road, is there like a go-to restaurant when you're touring? For me, if I can find a P.F. Chang's, I'm not sponsored by.
Look at that look. Nick Schwartzen's the best.
Them yet?
Schwartzen.
Let's change that P.F.
Yeah.
So I mean, is there, do you fuck with Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, fuck that.
I mean, it seems cool.
What would you have been, you think? Carpenter or something? Like a... Ooh.
I would have gone to carpentry college. I would have gone to Harvard and majored in carpentry with a minor in P.F. Chang's.
Damn.
Yeah. That's...
Yo, the troll aside, right, for my American watchers, the troll aside, is P.F. Chang's actually that tasty? I don't think, what do we have here that's equivalent to a P.F. Chang's? We have Wagamama's, right? But that's Japanese, isn't it? Wagamama's is Japanese, mass market Japanese fast food, whatever it may be called. And I guess P.F. Chang's is mostly Chinese. Is it Chinese or is it Korean? I don't know which one it is. But is it actually that good? Because Brendan always talks about the orange chicken and shit. And people always mention it, like they go out together with families and stuff there. Is it really good? Like, is it like good enough to like, people are saying here, it's not terrible but overpriced for average Chinese food. Cantu's saying yes. Zach don't enjoy Asian dishes personally, said Zach. Zach, do you not enjoy Asian dishes, Zach? Or do you not enjoy Asian people? Zach, half in the chat, let us know. Do you not like Asian people or do you not like their food? Jack Minder says not awful. Ace D says not really. Teju says P.F. Chang's is horrible and it smells like crap in here. TJ says overpriced. Ace D says frozen dinners are better than actual P.F. What? Frozen dinners are better than the P.F. Chang's? Okay, maybe it's that bad. It's awful. Jack Mann says it's awful. It's total mid. David Cantor says, ha ha ha. Let's see what Zach Huff is saying. Shit, them Asian girls' pussies. Okay. Look, you're not going to get me demonetized, mate, Zach. You can keep your thoughts and your horny thoughts to yourself, my friend. I'm not fucking reading that out. No way, Jose. No way. Colin says the chain restaurant garbage. Might as well get the real deal. Martin Moose says I like lettuce wraps. Ryu says PF Chang's and Panda sucks, but real Asian food is good. Okay, cool. So it's 50-50. Some people are saying it's really good. Some people are saying it's okay. So okay, no problem. I see. I got laid after going PF Chang's with David Cantu. Who had sex with you after eating fucking PF Chang's? What's her name? Who's the girl on fucking who's the girl on Bad Friends? What's that Asian girl's name? Kalala's cousin. That girl, because she seems like she's missing a few little light bulbs in it. Maybe she would think PF Chang's was like a Michelin star restaurant or something. Is that mean to say that she's missing a few light bulbs? That she comes across a little bit, Or is that, no, I don't know. Maybe it is mean. I don't know. You know what I mean, though. I'm only joking. Ha, ha, ha. I'm a comedian. Ha, ha, ha. Rudy Jules. Yeah, that's the one. Rudy. Anyway, let's move on from that one. I don't want to be caught in some sort of situation. And this is an example of the joke, the fajita joke that Brendan may have taken from Nick Schwartzen. You guys have to make your own opinion as to what you think. So what do you guys think? Do you think? Really? Uche's saying it's a shtick. She's a straight A student. So she pretends to have like Downs, or she pretends to be like, what's that word called? Not Downs. She pretends to be autistic or something. Is that her thing? Honestly, comedy people are awful, innit? You got Bert Kreischer fucking LARPing as an alcoholic, even though he's a multi-millionaire, has an organization, has a tour that he does, puts on shows, Netflix specials, produces his own TV things in movies. He pretends he's an alcoholic. And then you've got fucking Jules, who's pretending to be autistic and somewhat redacted and on the spectrum, but yet she's a straight A student. Actually, to be honest, I take it back. Aren't most people who are like a little bit, on the spectrum really smart anyway? Right? They are usually incredibly intellectual when it comes to, sitting down and revising and acing exams. Maybe I'm in the wrong there. I don't really know. But anyway, I'm gonna reverse and get the hell out of that one. Let's talk about this. So this is the clip that maybe illustrates if Brendan may have stole the fajita joke from Nick. I'd like to hear you guys' impression, what you guys think. Do you think Brendan stole this joke from Nick, or do you think this is just a common observation from the fajitas? Because I've seen it before. We don't have many Mexican restaurants here in London, but we do have some. And I know the whole like shebang of like having, the thing with the sparkles and shit, making an event when you got ordered at the table. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a general observation, or do you think it's a straight rip of Nick? Pardon.
Wow. She was just sitting there like fucking Brian Callen. You know what I mean? Just waiting to get drilled by fucking Schaub. Just sitting there. Fucking Schaub. Thief or Sutherland.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
God, that's what I call him.
Dang,
No,
bro.
I'm kidding. There's a bit about Schaub. Like, I guess he said, people say he stole some fajita joke from me.
Did he?
I don't care.
Do you like fajitas? Ever get those? Yeah, you do it, right? They're good. 'Cause it's more than a meal. It's very exciting. When you order a fajita, you order them, and then a couple minutes later, they bring them out, and it is loud.
Want that same feeling?
You know the difference of why Nick Schwartzen's version of it is really good? It's because of his tone. And again, this is the thing about comedy. This is the kind of nuance probably, and why the people like Brendan will never really be funny. It's that nuance of like him whispering, "You like fajitas? You a fan of fajitas? Wow." It's that kind of whispering tone, and he kind of builds up to the crescendo of the sparkles and shit. Whereas he's just shouting into the mic, fajitas. You know what I mean? That redacted voice of his, it doesn't even come across the same way.
I go to Chili's and order fajitas. You know what I'm talking about. You order those fajitas, it's fucking poppin'.
Smoke. It's like 4th of July. Everyone's like, oh my God. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Those fajitas hit the floor, it's all. I was like, what the fuck? Come on. Right here, bitch. Right here.
Then it turns into an arts and crafts project. Another level of excitement. Tortillas, you have all these little sour cream, guac.
Rain with tortillas now and shit.
It's just funny. I know Brendan. I don't care if he did, but I doubt it. I mean, he's had fajitas.
Yeah, a lot.
Come on, Nick, man. If you got C-clamps, mate, if Brendan fucking physically assaulted you at some comedy club, allegedly, you have to have more balls in this to stand up to the guy, man. You can't be having someone physically assault you and then you running onto a podcast and insult them because, you know, they basically won because they physically assaulted you and you did nothing. And then when it comes up to ripping them, you then try and backtrack. Say, no, he's my friend. I don't really know. Come on. Have some fucking balls, mate. Come on. So what? You can kill you with his bare hands. Just keep on going. I mean, rip the guy. It doesn't really matter, but what do you guys think? Do you think he stole it? People are saying, God, I love Nick Swartzen, stolen joke for sure. Nick was the only comedian that tells jokes Brendan can understand. Nick tells the shows. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true, because if you're going to steal jokes, you have to steal jokes from people who you kind of similar like you're kind of, there's some similarities in your personality or in your interests. You can't go too heady with some comedians because it wouldn't make any sense with the content that you put out and how you present yourself. So, yeah. Coyle says, I think he's so redacted he just repeats things and is too self-centered to consider it stealing. True. I definitely agree with that one. Yes, Marty Moose. People are saying in the subreddit that there was a story that Brendan shared one time on a podcast ages ago where he spoke about how some people can get too comfortable in their kind of piss taking and stuff outside the comedy club, because I guess it's the standard thing they do outside the comedy club. They stand around their cars in the car park and talk about how much they cheat on their wives and how much money they make from podcasts and how much dumb fans spend on their shitty merch and shit, right? And during that time, I guess they can also get into sessions where they kind of rip each other and do a bit of roasting. And I guess during that session, Brendan didn't like what he heard from an unnamed comedian and had to C-clamp the guy and pull him to a corner and basically give him a stern telling off and tell him, hey, you can't joke with me. No jokes with me. I'm the thinnest skinned comedian in the world. No jokes will be tolerated. And I guess he kind of, set the record straight and felt really proud of himself that he had to physically assault a fucking dweeby comedian, him being a UFC guy and built like a brick shit house. It's like, come on, man. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Let's continue on. This clip is quite funny, because it's just another clear indication, observation that these guys really, really, honestly, like these comedians in general, the disdain they have for regular people is absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The disdain they have for regular people. And I find it really interesting because, for the most part, regular working class people who work 9 to 5s and mind their business are the reason why most of these guys are multi-billionaires, and in the case of Joe Rogan, are approaching billionaire status. Because regular everyday people want to unplug from their regular everyday drudgery, and they go to a comedy club, they tune into a podcast, they watch a live stream, and that's what they do, right? Because, and it's adult entertainment kind of stuff with jokes and whatnot, introspective things, blah, 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 blah. But essentially, regular everyday people with shitty jobs, boring jobs, that work in cubicles, work in retail, that do normal things are the reason why these guys are successful. Yet, for some reason, they look down upon them. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And this is a small clip from the King and the Sting, where Brendan kind of makes a throwaway comment, but again, it's illustrative of what they feel, of how they feel about fucking their own fans. Let me play it now. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Get up on the screen. Here we go.
But it's also weird, like, if you go back to your high school reunion, it's like you can't relate to them. I mean, what have you been doing? They're working 9 to 5, and you're talking about stand-up, your Patreon that makes more money in a month than they make in a year. It's like,
So, in Brendan's redacted mind, the reason why you can't go back to a high school reunion isn't because it's going to be embarrassing, or it's going to be lame, or it's going to be boring, or you just can't be bothered. It's because they are so successful and they make so much money that they have no idea how to relate to the common folk, right? No idea how to relate to the common folk. But what I don't understand also is that most of the jokes that they tell on stage are related to everyday common folk things, like Brendan Schaub special. Stuff about his kids, stuff about his wife, stuff about his interpersonal relationship with his family. Regular everyday things that everyone goes through are what comedians talk about on stage, because that's how you're going to get the laughs, right? You're not going to go in there and start talking about, problems with your fucking private jet, or how difficult it is to drive a fucking Lamborghini in a city or something, right? No one's going to relate to it. You have to try to make relatable jokes. So they make relatable joke and relatable content, but yet when it comes to how they view the public that they kind of try to relate to, they look down upon you. It's really bizarre. I don't understand it for the slightest, and I don't really get why they're like this. I don't understand it, because Joe Rogan does this a lot also. He's definitely somebody that has a real little bee in his bonnet. I get it. I get that he doesn't like it, right? He doesn't like regular jobs, why he does what he does. But Joe always talks really disparagingly about people who work regular jobs, as if they're all miserable, as if like there's no person who's working a regular 9 to 5 that's happy doing what they're doing. That no person that's happy being an area manager or like a flipping shift manager at a fucking Target or like a, you know, whatever it may be. Like everyone is always dying to fucking have a podcast and get on stage and do comedy and stuff. It's such a weird way to view yourself. But then I guess it kind of relates back to these comedians in general having a really inflated ego, like generally thinking that, you know, everybody in the world wants to have their career, when not really the case, to be honest. And I just find it interesting. Again, like, I'm not somebody that's gone to a school reunion. I've never gone to one. I've been invited to a few over the years, right? University ones and college ones and stuff, and I've just generally not gone. And most of the reasons why is because you just don't want to see old faces again. You just don't want to be put back into that space. Maybe you didn't have a great time in school. Maybe you're not in the best place in your life in general. But it was never because, oh, I'm too successful and I don't want to shit on people. If anything, you'd want to do it. If anything, if you've actually felt that way, you'd actually want to go there, especially if you got bullied or something, and pull up in a nice car or look amazing or have whatever you want to do, just to kind of show off to the people that kind of look down upon you or count you out when you were younger. But never once has it crossed our mind that I'm too successful and too rich or too much of a badass to go back to a high school unit. It's like such a pathetic and kind of not even, is it like an infantile? I don't know what it is. It's just weird. What a weird way to kind of view your fans. And again, I really would love to know why they are like this. Like, why do comedians who, for the most part, make their money through having working class fans or middle class fans who work regular jobs, come out and support the things that they do, also look down upon the same fans and don't treat them with the same level of respect they treat their peers because they don't get on a mic and they don't tell fucking dick jokes on stage? I don't get it. It's really bizarre. It's really odd. But again, I guess it's just a standard comedy thing, innit? Look down upon your fans and then keep milking them for cash. I guess it is what it is. So in the next one, what am I going to talk about? Next one to talk about here. I've got this little thing I wanted to mention about me, right? Going to podcasts. I wanted to get the climate of the chat in general, what you guys think. So I'm a big fan of this show called New Rory and More, right? These two guys used to be part of the Joe Budden podcast. Then they had a falling out with Joe Budden and then decided to set up their own podcast called New Rory and More. The white guy's Rory, the black guy's More. And I really like their podcast in general. I'm a big fan of it. So they're going on tour and they're going to be coming to London, as you can see there, on the 5th or the 11th. So I'm really eager to go. And I've already bought my ticket and I can't wait to go. Now, I'm also thinking, will this be terrible? Like, have you guys been to a live podcasting taping before? Like, have you been to a live podcast show before? And what has been your experience? Because I'm kind of second guessing myself and thinking, did I make a mistake of buying a ticket? Will it be absolutely shit? Like, what are they going to do on stage? It's a podcast and they're going to have a live stage show. How can they make it fun and interesting? Or is it going to be an absolute disaster? I'd love to know what you guys think in the clip. What do you guys think in the chat, about podcast live shows? And have you ever been to one? Or what would make you want to go to one? Why haven't you been to one? I'd love to know in the chat below what you guys think. Because I'm a little bit regretting maybe buying the ticket. I probably should have waited before I'd made the decision, but I bought it because I'm such a big fan of the show. Jack Miner says Tim Dillon live podcast was amazing, but it's Tim Dillon, so yeah, true. Because I think live podcast, that's a good point we made. I think you have to like the people to make it work, right? It's like being a fan of a shitty local band. You kind of have to like the people or know them personally. Maybe you bump into them in the local bar and then you don't mind supporting them, or you don't really hear how bad they are, you know, how other people might think they're bad. You just see them being kind of your local town heroes. Maybe that's the thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of it, but I'm just not sure if I should be going to a live show. Maybe it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be good, but I don't know. I just want to support in general. So I'm going to check it out regardless. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's fun. you never know when it comes to live shows. There's not really much you can do when you're doing a live podcast. You get on stage, you have a microphone, you might have a screen with some graphics. I don't know, maybe do some fun interactive games and shit. His live podcast was better than his stand-up, to be honest. Wow, Jackman. Okay, cool. Frankenstein says, how much crazy, how much content we both consume? Yes, I'm definitely sure. Frankenstein says, I've never been to a live, can't think of a live I'd want to go to. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, exactly, Just Fury. Good point. It's cool to get merch without paying for shipping. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, because they do sell some decent merch. I'm not going to lie. They've got some decent kind of hats and stuff and t-shirts that I've always wanted to cop that, or, I don't want to pay the amount that they kind of are going to cost to get them shipped over here to the US. So stuff like this. I know it's really corny, but I definitely wear this hat. This is New Royal More on it. This hoodie is pretty sick with the logo on it, right? There's some good stuff on there that I'm a big fan of, that I definitely would like to kind of buy if I went there live to go check out some stuff. And I'm sure they'll have some tour-only merch I could purchase also, so that'd be good to check out. But yeah, let's see anyway, let's see. That's what I'm going to be doing, hopefully, and I'll definitely report back as to my findings as to what a live podcast show is like, so I definitely want to check that out when that eventually ends up happening. Next on the list of things to talk about here, Excuse got the fire blouses. Anyway, let's continue this. No comment on that one. I think that's a good reference. That's a very particular reference to something that I might have done in the past, but I'm not going to expand on that. Let's just carry on and move on. So this is another clip that I think I was in the process of speaking about in part 1 of the show, and this is Brendan basically talking about having to cancel some shows that he'd had, and he's blaming COVID, right? It's absolutely insane. And I think this might be another indication as to why Brendan is so maybe disliked and stuff, and why he kind of comes across badly, is this inability to be humble, a refusal to look quote unquote bad in front of people, and this weird embellishment lighting that he does. I'm sure he's not the only person, don't get me wrong. I'm sure this is a common tactic that most comedians do, where they kind of fake it till they make it, but Brendan is just relentless, bruv. Yeah, like, I understand when you get into an industry, I maybe understand maybe feeling inadequate or feeling like a bit of an imposter and wanting to feel legit, and then maybe inflating what you look like and making it seem like you're bigger than what you actually are, so you feel like you fit in with your peers and whatnot. I understand, I get that, especially when you're first getting introduced into a new scene that you're not familiar with. But surely, once you get your feet under the table and you get settled, for lack of a better term, maybe you should cut the crap and stop lying and just kind of do the work, right? Stop trying to fake it till you make it and actually just make it. But for whatever reason, Brendan's incapable of doing that. I don't know. He might be not lying, who knows? But I just find it incredible that all these years in, he's still doing these weird embellishments and half-truths and twisting narratives to make himself look a certain way. It's just odd. But anyway, this is Brendan explaining why he has to cancel a set of shows, and I'll show you why it's redacted, because obviously it was clearly a lie, but this is an insane way to kind of make yourself look like the hero when you don't really need to. And also, like I said before in previous shows, it's not like this lie is, we're all flipping redacts on this stream. We're all way too invested in this stuff than regular people. Regular people just watch the streams and enjoy it and carry on with their everyday lives. So it's not like a regular person will even know or care about the business of stand-up while they're cancelling. So to go to this extent and lie this much is just really odd, because you're not lying to us or to other fans because they don't care. And industry people know the truth anyway, so it's like, who you're lying to? I mean, it's a bit weird. But anyway, regardless, this is Brendan talking about how why he had to cancel some shows, I guess in Denver, which is weird because I guess he's from there. So if you had to cancel shows in Denver for low ticket sales, then it definitely proves that you're probably not as big as deal as you think you are. But anyway, let's play.
What's up, fam? I am here with some good news, some bad news. Bad news is my show this Friday at the Den Theater has been canceled.
How can you not pronounce Denver? You hear what he said about Denver? How can you not pronounce the place that you're from? Denver. What did he say?
This Friday at the Den Theater has been...
The Den Theater. Oh, sorry, Den Theater. My bad, I take it back. Not Denver, he said the Den Theater. Okay, let's go.
This Friday at the Den Theater has been canceled. I don't blame the Den Theater. Don't be upset at the Den Theater. They're going to refund all your tickets.
Why would anyone be upset at a venue for your show not going? Like, why would anybody want to extend the hate to a fucking venue anyway in the first place? Unless they decided to, you know, cancel your show because you said some ridiculous thing online or something. Why should any punter have stick up their ass about the venue? It's always on the performer. It's always on the talent. You should always take responsibility for it. He should never pass it up. But the fact that he's saying don't blame the Den, he's basically blaming them, right? In a weird way.
My team didn't do their homework when we got the contract and realized that the Den Theater has very strict COVID laws with the vaccination.
The way he says laws has always intrigued me. How are you going to add L's into a word that's pretty phonetically simple to pronounce? Laws. Why would you say laws? Such a weird way to say things. Anyway, so now he's blaming COVID for the reason why he can't perform at the Den Theatre. So he's now trying to tell you that somehow he had no idea that this place has a very strict policy in terms of COVID, regulations. I'm assuming they require the fans and the customers to put masks on. So now he's trying to use that as a reason why, because he's clearly the bastion of free speech and wants people to do what they want to do. And, he's had fucking COVID, 17 times. He gave it to Chin, he nearly died. He gave it to his entire family. The amount of people that are probably, again, allegedly passed away through him fucking putting on tours and going on fucking, runs with his fucking crew of Redaxes in Cape is, you can't even put it into fucking words, and now he's here trying to blame them for it. It's just the hubris of this man is absolutely incredible. Honestly, incredible.
Cards and boosters and all that stuff. I won't get into it. Don't be about Den Theater. They're just part of the whole kind of Chicago theater union, and they have still implemented these strict rules. We didn't know this. I'm not anti-vax,
Yes, you are. You're clearly anti-vax. He's clearly anti-vax. I don't think I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Brendan lied about getting a vaccine. I don't think he ever got the vaccine. I think he was so hell-bent on jumping on that grift of ivermectin and being anti-vax and stuff, and obviously because Joe Rogan's that's the thing. If you're going to be anti-vax and you have your own point of view around it, like you clearly have your own beliefs, that's one thing. But there were a lot of people who were just being anti-vax just to be edgy, just to be contrarian, just to be different. And there were those as well, those absolute redaxers, top of the tier redax, who were being anti-vax just because Joe Rogan said it. Because they want to be like Joe Rogan, which is fucking incredible, right? It's the same comedians who... Imagine being a grown adult, right? And moving to Texas because Joe Rogan's moving to Texas. Just imagine that. An adult moves and you move your whole family with your kids and your children, no, with your wife and your children, your partner, whatever, and go to Texas because Joe Rogan's going there. Like, fucking insane. To open a comedy club, that guess what? It's still not open. 2 years later or something. I'm sure it will open one day, but they all went there to go and, work at Joe's club that still isn't open. It's just absolutely insane. Like, yeah, so Brendan hasn't even got like a point of view or like a real ideology or a way of thinking behind COVID, right? It's nothing. It's just him trying to latch onto, the grift that Joe Rogan was on for a bit and try to seem edgy and cool with it, but there's nothing in it whatsoever. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
None of that stuff. But what I am is I believe in people making their own decisions, and you shouldn't predicate whether you can come to a comedy show or not. So I can't partake in that. But again,
what? Let's rewind that again. What? What's his stance here?
I'm not anti-vax, none of that stuff. But what I am is I believe in people making their own decisions, and you shouldn't predicate whether you can come to a comedy show or not. So I can't
You can't predicate whether it's coming to a comedy show or not based on that. But isn't that club doing the exact same thing that he's talking about? Aren't they making their own decisions by basically trying to look after the greater good? If you've got, especially nowadays in 2022, right? Most places are free of regulations and whatnot and restrictions. You can basically do what the fuck you want. If you want to go to the extent of like faking vax cards or like vaccination status, you can do what the hell you want now, isn't it? No one's really checking as thoroughly as they were doing in the past. If you end up getting sick and dying, it's basically on you. No one really gives a shit. But for the most part, everyone's kind of gone back to regular scheduled programming. But if there's some places that still exist that are quite strict in what they do in terms of regulations, I'd imagine now, even if you're anti-vax, you kind of have to respect it. Because they basically have their own stance. Like, you're anti-vax, you don't agree with it, you think people should do what they want to do. But then there are some places, some venues that are like, you know what, we still require masks and whatnot. And then you, as a free citizen, have the choice. Do I want to go there or not? Right? But to blame them for you canceling the show is insane, because there's no way he just found out about this now before the show. No way. I don't believe it whatsoever. How are you just gonna like? It doesn't make sense. They're gonna put that all over the fucking website, all over the ticket thing. This is incredible, man. The fucking, and I guess the thing as well about comedy clubs, the running cost of the flipping place and shit. It doesn't make sense to put the show on, right? So I guess if you're a comedy club, it's better to cancel it, and you also don't care if the comedian makes up any reason they want as to why the show got cancelled, because it helps the comedians look good, and then it just helps you to kind of move on and put on another show. You don't really care. It doesn't really affect your bottom line. So this is probably really well set up for comedians who lie a lot. Venues, right? Because venues don't really give a shit because they're kind of faceless. There's no one really you can attack and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's the reason why. But Jesus Christ, man, like COVID regulations, really?
Partake in that. But again, I'm not upset the Den Theater. This is on my team. Everybody can do their own thing. It was a privilege to be able to be on.
Hold on. What did Coiler say here? Coiler says a lot of clubs in the Midwest make the artist or DJ bring a pay their own Vax card checker. Show post probably too cheap to really. So there's some places that make you I guess it's that what is because I've got in the UK we have your COVID part because I got vaccinated, right? And you get your status put on the NHS app, and you have these like QR codes. So when we used to have regulations before to get into certain places, they would scan the QR code. Super dystopian, super 1984, super Orwellian, I know, super Big Brother. But, you know, I just wanted to live my life. I wanted to go out. I wanted to go DJ. I wanted to go to clubs. So I just did it. I didn't do it for any other reason apart from that. I didn't care about anyone's grandma. I just did it because I could go out. But then that's what you have to do. You have to kind of have to scan it. So I'd imagine what you're talking about, Coiler, is if you go to these clubs, those scanning machines are not there all year, all week round. You have to hire them, whatever it may be, right? Hire the cost of them, cover the cost, so that they can check those that way. I'd imagine that's what you mean, right? That's fucking crazy. Martin Moose says, I just card a small piece of paper with my vaccine information. They're probably easier to fake. Yeah, true. If Brendan was on Adderall, he'd be able to speak intelligibly.
Stage at the Den Theater. I wasn't aware of these things. I just became aware of it.
How can you just become aware of it the week before you go? He's the only comedian who I see who makes these videos. He's like, oh, sorry, I can't come. This happened, that happened. Like, he does. And again, for me personally, right, this stuff doesn't matter. I don't care who sells tickets. I don't care who does whatever. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But he's made such an effort to lie that people pick apart this stuff now, because most comedians lie about this stuff also. But he goes out of his way to lie and embellish everything to such an extent that people go out of their way to make sure they can disprove what he says or prove that he's lying on some shit. It's just, come on, man, just give it up. Okay, you didn't sell any tickets. Who cares? Just don't talk about it. Move on. It got cancelled. It is what it is.
I can't partake in that. So I will be doing 2 shows at the Laugh Factory in Chicago now. They're not full hours. I'm doing 20 minutes at the 7:30 show. I'm closing that show out.
So now he's trying to make it seem like, hold on, so the COVID regulations in one place are not strict, but other places are okay. But you can't just then. So why, if this was true what he said, he would just go to another venue that doesn't have any COVID regulations. So now he's just going to go up on another person's lineup or another person's show, bump somebody, take away their time. This man's lying, yo. He's lying. Lying.
And at the 9:30 show, I'm doing 20 minutes as well. So go to Laugh Factory Chicago, get your tickets for that. And I apologize to everybody at the Den Theater. They've been nothing but great. We both understand each other. It's all good.
Yeah, I definitely think venues don't care if you lie, if they have to cancel a show because of low ticket sales, because for them, they'd much rather not have to kind of, go in the red to put a show on so that, 10 of your fans can watch you, because it's not worth it. Because I know for me, I've been a promoter myself. I've had to put on club nights. I remember once having a club night that I put on where only my friends turned up, which was really embarrassing and hard to take. And basically the promoter said, sorry, the venue owner after an hour just said, we have to turn everything off. We can't have this night on again because, waste of electricity, waste of resources or whatnot. And we have to send the security home. So that was hard to swallow. So I know for sure venues don't give a shit if you turn around and then say, sorry guys, the water pipes burst in the venue, so it flooded and we couldn't put the... you can make up whatever excuse you want to look good online and stuff, but Jesus Christ, I just don't get that. It's such a weird inclination to just always lie and make yourself look like the bigger, badder, cooler, successful comedian all the time, when sometimes it just is what it is, isn't it? You just didn't sell any tickets. Like, It's not a bad thing. Like, it's hard to sell tickets. It really is. It doesn't matter if it's your hometown or not, or if it's somewhere that you've been to before or not. It doesn't matter. It's difficult to sell tickets. Like, people to buy tickets with cold hard cash and go to places is really difficult to get them out of the house. I know. I put on events myself, so I just find it bizarre, really bizarre.
Your business how you want to do. I'll run mine. Love you guys. Shout out to Chicago. On Saturday will be the Thick Mudder. Saturday, the 11 a.m. heat. Go to Tough Mudder and use promo code Team Brendan. Get 10%.
The fact that he's also spamming and promoting Tough Mudders in 2022 is typical Brendan, and it's so late on everything. This is like the most uncoolest thing ever. It's kind of, Tough Mudders' time has been and gone for the most part, I think. Whatever. But still, my man's promoting Tough Mudders. Very, very interesting.
Off the complete sign up. Come run with the Thick Boy Squad. I'll be there. We'll run the race. It's gonna be a fun time. We drink whiskey, eat afterwards. Come on out, Chicago. See you soon. Den Theater. Everybody got your tickets. I apologize. I will be back. Chicago, you know I love you, but I will see you at the Laugh Factory Chicago this Friday, 7:30, 9:30 shows, and then at the Tough Mudder in Chicago this Saturday, 11 a.m. heat. Love you guys.
I don't know. And it's definitely an American thing also, isn't it? To say you love everybody when you don't really love them. It's a very weird inclination. And I love you guys. Really? Do you love them? Why do you keep lying to them then? If you love them so much, I don't understand this. What people saying in the chat? We turned up at Zinga Flazes. Oh, thank you so much, Flazes. Honestly, man, that party was so embarrassing. I think I spent a lot of money also. I actually hired DJs. Luckily, they didn't come. I still paid them though, like I always did. That's one thing I always did. When I used to promote events, I would always pay my friends. I'd pay the person that designed the flyer. I'd pay my friends if I was going to put them at the door to do the fucking guest list. I'd pay all the DJs. That's probably why I didn't make any money when I was fucking promoting and doing events, because I actually would like to pay my friends. And I think most people didn't. They just used their friends for free labor, but I couldn't do that. Brendan reminds, and again, I'm not saying this to be fucking angelic. I just think it's nice to pay your friends, isn't it? Like, why not? If I had a friend that fucking was a fucking tailor or something and I wanted to make me a suit, do you know what I mean? I'd like to pay my friend, like, because it's nice that I've got a friend that can help me do a suit, but it's not like I want it for free. I just nice to know my friend that's doing it, because it's cool to show up and say, oh, my friend made this for me. Anyway, Jack Minus is a 4-wall contract. No, that's a lie thing. Don't lump all Americans in with that. Okay, cool, thanks. Just Felix, the Tough Mudder footage was gold. Yeah, I'm gonna go through that actually now. That was really good for you. One. Oh, honestly, the Tough Mudder thing is so fucking redacted. It really is. Big up Jihad in the chat as well. Just joined the gang. But yeah, let's move on. And then, of course, to continue with all this stuff around the cancelling of the shows. So someone posted on the Friday Kid subreddit. Look at this. This is fucking hilarious, right? So he says he had to cancel the Den Theater because of fucking COVID regulations or whatnot, right? Which is obviously a lie. And then obviously somebody posted up here on the Reddit, if this show was cancelled because of COVID, of his show, Brendan's show, why did the Den Theater replace it with a live band followed by karaoke? So this is a screenshot, I think, taken from Facebook, featuring from the Den Theater. It says, you're going to love our happy hour musician lineup this week. Thursday night we'll be joined by Max Copey, whatever his name is. Friday night by Christian McCann. Live music and half price off drinks. What could be better? And then next here you have another karaoke night flyer as well. What the hell sound there? Is that a thing? Oh yeah, shit. Thank you for the donation from Schaub FIFA Sutherland. Amazing name. Thank you for the $3, Schaub FIFA Sutherland. I do appreciate you a lot. That's an amazing name. I think this is a bit of a stretch, just to be honest, because Brendan's saying that he had to cancel his show because he doesn't agree with COVID restrictions, right, and regulations. He thinks that people should be able to go to shows and do what they want, in terms of, if they want to show a Vax card or not, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say they cancelled his show because he was anti-vax. No, yeah, he said basically he cancelled because they got the regulations with the mask, not the other way around. So maybe what he's saying is true. So the fact that they put on a karaoke night doesn't disprove what he said. If anything, it just shows that the show must go on in that regard of things. And then moving on, somebody showed an example of the ticket. Again, all this stuff I don't like, right? I don't really agree with this kind of stuff, like going super deep into how many tickets it sells and looking at the fucking seating plan. I don't think this is cool, personally, for me, right? What's Martin Musa? They cancelled Brendan's show, not the club. They cancelled Brendan's show. Also, you're saying the Den cancel. So I guess people are saying on the subreddit that the Den are the one that cancelled his show, but Brendan lied and said it was about COVID. Ah, I see what you mean. And then the replacement show is what proves it, because the replacement show was put on without. Yeah, okay, maybe that's true. But I also don't like all this stuff, right? This illustration of like the number of tickets sold or not sold, because I think it's really sad and out of order, because I think you have to start somewhere, like myself included, right? I've only got 100 viewers on this fucking stream that I'm doing now. Some of my videos get, double-digit views, triple-digit views, sometimes 1,000 views. It's not all the time, but, you have to start somewhere when you're doing these creative content type of things or whatnot, entertainment things. So maybe if you don't sell enough tickets, doesn't mean you're not good at what you do. Just, everyone's got to start somewhere. But I feel like because this guy lies so often, people really go out of their way to prove that he definitely isn't as big as a big shot that he thinks he is by posting stuff like this and showing the seating plan and showing how lowly the ticket sales are, because it's just awful, man. It really is. This must be so brutal to take, because on top of this, people are talking about you're not funny and proving it with comedy clips. I don't know, man. I don't know how you live day to day knowing so many people go out of their way to put all this kind of evidence together. It's fucking brutal, man. It really is. Sometimes I feel so bad for the guy. I really do. But then sometimes you're reminded of how much of a fucking redact he is for the things that he does. It's similar to like DSP, Dark Side Phil, innit? And Wings of Redemption. You sometimes feel bad for them for all the stick they get online and how they get trolled and whatnot. Then they do something really awful and you're reminded, why people really, really don't like how they get on and do stuff. I don't know. But hey. What else we're going to do here? Move on. Oh, what's it? Papa gets emotional over bad athletes made fun on online. This is going to be a probably funny clip, in it. Let's see Brendan defending athletes that get roasted online because, of course, it's probably hits close to home.
We had to get in front of the story. We don't want somebody else telling the story. We weren't going to fact check everything. We weren't going to look into it. So they come out and paint it like he was involved in it. When I say it ruined this young man, you remember at the time he's 21, 22. When I say it ruined him, dude, the media, instead of fact checking and getting his story,
they jump right on.
needed the story out before because they wanted likes and clicks.
Of course.
So when I say ruined his life,
I believe.
Well, what happens with that? Well, what happens with that is memes started becoming a thing. So he's a meme now. And it breaks your heart because when he's talking, I was choking up. He goes, people.
I don't know. It's funny that Brendan always chokes up and gets emotional about random people he doesn't know, right? Like watches a show, 90 Day Fiance, fucking Teen Mom, I don't know, whatever nonsense he watches online, documentaries and shit, and it makes him tear up. But, what's his name? His wife's grandma dying, no tears. His own grandma dying, no tears, right? Fucking Crystalia gets accused of diddling underage girls, fucking sobbing on the microphone as if somebody shot and killed his entire family. Touch wood, it doesn't happen. Absolutely bizarre. I guess that's a mark of a sociopath, isn't it? Having really weird emotional reactions to things, like not reacting at all when something happens to your direct family, but then crying when some fictional character on a TV show like Yellowstone gets killed off or some shit. It's so fucking insane.
Just made fun of me. People just made fun of me nonstop. People would see me on the street and go, holy shit, I'm a big fan, take a picture with me. Then I would get on his social media and see him making fun of me. Would never do it to my face. Then they got on Instagram and they're making fun of me.
Making fun of me online. Bro, I always adopt the fucking Tyler the Creator aspect when it comes to fucking online bullying. It's online, bruv. Just turn off the fucking internet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Back in my day, when you'd get bullied, you'd get fucking bullied online and offline. It'd be double fucking homicide. You know what I mean? You'd be getting it from all ends. You'd be getting slaughtered on your fucking Facebook group, of your school. And you also have to kind of get slaughtered at school as well, physically. And sometimes you'd get triple. You'd get the fucking slaughtering on your public social media. You'd also get slaughtered in real life, and you'd get slaughtered on the intranet, right? Dedicated network in the school. The fact that you're just getting trolled online from people, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Just turn off the fucking laptop and go look after your kids.
He was, I get drafted by the Chargers. Because of this whole incident, the NFL teams were like, it's too dicey. You're supposed to get drafted in the top 10 in the first round. That's his dream. He goes second round, whatever, 38th pick to San Diego Chargers. Cool.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I've just seen this. Okay, I'm going to have to so I can zoom in properly. Oh my God. I've just seen this. This is absolutely insane. Number one, I want to take the sharpest machete I can find. The sharpest machete, right? The sharpest one. The machete used by kids in the favela. The sharpest machete used by fucking people from Blood Diamonds. The sharpest machete from people from that fucking island where they don't like foreigners coming in, right? That one where they kill people and shit. Give me the sharpest fucking machete you can find so I can take it to fucking Brian Callen's feet and cut off those feet so he doesn't have to wear those sandals again. Because those sandals are incredibly offensive. I fucking hate those things. On my life, I hate them things to the nth degree. And I'm not saying that somebody, as a guy that, you know, Kanye West is like, no sandals, he doesn't like sandals, Jordan's on the beach all day. I'm not that kind of guy that's allergic to feet. I just think this is so unprofessional on the fucking podcast that you can't get on there, right? And, because look, he's got a pair of jeans on and a t-shirt. Clearly, he's had some sort of shower and a bath or something and got ready for. Look at that face he's got. looking at Brendan. Daddy, what are you talking about, Daddy? Whatever, yeah. So he's got some sort of dress going on here, like he's going out. But then you can't be bothered to put a pair of trainers on or a pair of shoes. How can you put on a pair of skinny jeans and a belt and a grey t-shirt on, but you have no time to put on shoes? Is it that hot in LA? Really, it's not that hot, really. I don't think so. But forget that, right? I'll take the sharpest machete and I'll cut his feet open, right? Or cut just above the ankle so he has no feet left over so he can't put on any more sandals. Because I don't think there exist some sandals that you can put on stumps or whatnot, right? It doesn't exist. But the next thing that I think is really offensive are these things. Whatever Brendan has on here. Are you seeing these things in the chat? Are you seeing this shit? He's wearing skinny jeans that have elastic on the bottom of them. So denim sweatpants, tie-dye or bleached denim sweatpants with no socks, ankle socks and trainers. Are you absolutely kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this man's meant to be into fashion. This man is into fashion. This man is clearly into fashion, right? I've always been into fashion. What fashion is this? Where do you buy this stuff from? Champs. Where do you buy this stuff from? Please, someone tell me. Where do you buy a pink Lakers hat, redacted? Again, maybe it's a little cool detail if you were cool and trendy. Maybe this would look cool on a little TikTok kid with that kind of bushy hair they do and those kind of like, those TikTok kids, the hot boys on TikTok. They're always kind of like squinting, right? They're always like, right? They're always got that squint face on. If you've got that really cute 21-year-old squint face going on and you've got a little pink hat, maybe you look cute. But if you're a inflamed, puffy-cheeked, whiskey-drenched comedian that's near approaching your 40s and you got a pink hat on, you look fucking ridiculous. Then this LA Dodgers jersey thing, redacted, burn it. But these jeans, elasticated skinny jeans, brother. Are you insane? Can someone tell me what the fuck this is? What the fuck is this shit? Elasticated skinny jeans. Someone tell me. And then this guy is complaining that he's getting bullied online. You should be getting bullied online. You've got elasticated jeans on, brother. You should be getting bullied. Like, this is double offensive. This should be putting you in the gulags at all times. Double sandals and skinny. And the thing that's crazy too. Oh, big up Joey Dada for the 99 cents donated via super chat. I appreciate you, Joey Dadas. I appreciate you. The funny thing about this is that those two things, I bet you, are probably worth more than $1,000. Those things together. I bet you these jeans are probably like £300 or some bullshit, and these sandals are 600 or some shit. Because I remember, I think they're handmade from like elephant skin or some shit, right? I think fucking, what's his name? What's that fucking guy's name? That hunter guy went and fucking killed elephants in some, African country somewhere, illegally smuggled them over and made them into fucking sandals, right? So I'm sure these are really expensive and so are those jeans. But look how fucking awful they are. Absolutely garbage. I cannot understand. I can't believe I've just seen this. It's absolutely just distracted me for the entirety of the video. You can't be complaining about cyberbullying when you wear a pink Lakers hat and you have skinny joggers. Like, what skinny joggers? Honestly, if any of you guys in the chat have a pair of these jeans on, I beg you, throw them away. For the sake of your children, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your partners, for the sake of your partners to be, throw these jeans away if you have them. I beg you. You will be saving the planet. You will be absolutely increasing your ability to attract a mate, right? To get a promotion. Honestly, these things are absolutely horrendous. 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 Anyway, I'll stop now because I'm ranting about this too much and I'm the only person that cares about this type of shit because I actually am into clothes. I actually am into fashion. So seeing somebody wear the shit that these guys wear and then claiming you're into stuff is just an offense to me. But hey, let's just continue and let's roll.
It's your dream, you get drafted by the Chargers. The fucking San Diego Union, whatever, the newspaper, he gets drafted. You know what's on the front cover when he gets there? It's a cartoon of him walking on the beach with just his arm over nobody there going, babe, you're going to love San Diego. He goes, that was my welcoming when I get San Diego. So he goes, the football field used to be my sanctuary. He's like, if you didn't know who Manti Te'o is, I guarantee.
Oh, he's talking about that guy that got... Okay, there's a documentary about this guy. I don't know who Manti Te'o is. I don't... Again, please forgive me. I'm not American. I don't follow American sports and stuff. Too tough. But I've seen this online a bit. People talking about it on social media. There's a guy called something Te'o, right? Who's an American football player who I guess was getting... what did he get? He got catfished online, right? He thought he was in love with some girl who wasn't a girl, or something happened to him that way. And I guess there's a documentary about him and his life and how it affected his career, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I guess Brendan feels more sympathy for this guy who he's never met in his entire life than his own fucking grandmother passing away. Absolutely incredible to watch.
You're going to find out. That's where I flourish. I have more confidence there than anywhere in the world. When this stuff came out, people started making fun of me. And I would walk in a room.
That's not nice. That's the thing. You have to pick a lane. You can't be big bad bully Brendan and also be a victim. You have to decide one or the other. You can't look the way he does. You know, former UFC fighter, top 15, former fucking athlete, former professional football player, even though, you know, he didn't maybe get to the level he wanted to get to, he still was able to play to a decent level, then went to UFC, and then also be a victim. You can't do that. You have to pick one. Either you're a victim or you're the bad or you're the aggressor. You can't fucking pick the other. Define bullying, someone said in the chat.
Everyone stopped talking. It took all that from me, and I got to the NFL, and I was a shell of myself.
That's right.
So he was kind of, he could have been an all-pro.
That's right.
Confidence gone. Ruins his career. And even now, people are still making fun of him.
Oh, shut the fuck up, man. Who cares? Honestly, this is definitely a sociopathic trait, isn't it? Man has more sympathy for a guy he doesn't know, for a story he's only heard about because of the documentary, than his own family members passing away. A family member passes away, he's like, okay, time for another tour. Time to go on the road. Like, what the fuck is this, man? What a weirdo. Honestly, I don't get that. Maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe if you have a family, an actual family, a wife with kids, there is a bit of you that actually wants to have a break, especially when you have kids that are under 10 years old, they're driving you crazy, so you want to make an excuse to leave the house. Fair enough, but the lack of emotion my man was speaking about his own grandmother passing away, or his wife's grandmother, was really weird, I remember at the time. So for him to be on the brink of tears, sobbing and complaining, he was getting bullied online for his football player that got trolled or that got catfish is really, really odd. But hey, who knows? Let's continue on here. What's this? Someone said here? Joey Dada says, I think you'd make more money if you named it a Coke Fund. I actually might change it to the Coke Fund, actually, just for the troll and just for the joke. Why not? Let's make it, actually, I'll make it a Ket Fund. I'll put it in the Ket Fund because the Ket Fund's a little bit less aggressive than saying Coke on the stream, and also maybe a bit more funny. But yeah, let's move on. Where's that clip for fucking... Where is it? Let me see the clip where they're talking about fucking Tough Mudder. What can I see? Have I got that up here? Let me see if I can get that up here. Bear with me a second. Where is it? Actually, no. Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this quickly. So this is a pretty interesting clip, right? This is a clip taken from... I need to pause it here so it doesn't play automatically. Pause. This is a clip taken from a guy called Ben Hurwitz, comedian. And this guy had a podcast with the one and only Malik B. Remember him? Malik B, the one that was trying to he tried to like game the system with the fucking Fire and the Kid subreddit. He tried to make them fucking follow his account so he could expose the stuff that happened on the Fire and the Kid, when he got kicked off and whatnot, or sacked, whatever it may be, and everyone kind of turned on him in the end, and then he ended up kind of disappearing. We haven't really heard much from the guy since. But he sat down on this guy's podcast and he revealed something that was absolutely insane. I had no idea about this at all, so he should have probably revealed this probably sooner, but this is a wild fucking allegation that Malik has kind of leveled against Brendan Schaub and how he conducts his fucking podcast. This is fucking nuts. So it's a little clip here taken from this guy's Instagram account, so let's play it.
Didn't they want you to say?
Oh shit, we couldn't talk about Black Lives Matter.
Oh. Because it would be too polarizing for their audience?
Yeah, for the audience, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little, I mean, you have two black guys on the show.
Yeah.
That's a little fucked up to say I can't even mention that. Because it's all that anybody is talking about when you're doing the show, right? And you're not allowed to say a word about it?
At the end of the day, it's his show.
Yes.
So who you gonna tell? You're not gonna tell anyone to like, yo, you can't talk about this. Well, I think we should. It's his show. All right, cool. You do whatever you want to do. Even on the road, it's his show. I mean, I got a text when he was like about to take me off his tour. I was like, all right, bro, cool.
Why was he taking you off the tour?
I don't know. He said I wasn't funny enough.
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass serious. I wasn't funny enough. So he just
Brandon Schaub.
Yeah. Text me.
UFC fighter Brendan Schaub said you weren't funny enough.
Bro, text me at like 10. I think it's like late at night. I'm laid up with my chick. And I'm like, okay, this cool. Whatever. I ain't paying any mind to it. I ain't really care.
What didn't they?
I love how people say they don't really care, but they clearly did care. Imagine being at home and you're preparing to go out to a comedy spot, and then you get a text an hour before your fucking set that you can't go on because the guy that's the most unfunniest comedian in the history of comedy says that you're not fucking funny. Imagine. Oh, big up Uch for the $3 PF Chang Fund. Big up. I appreciate you. Honestly. But the Black Lives Matter thing is fucking wild, isn't it, if you think about it? No? I remember at the time, because if you remember clearly, Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia got cancelled just before COVID, I think, hit. And just before the whole George Floyd thing happened, right? And then the protests surrounding it. But that was a period in time, I think like a year, maybe 2 years, where the whole Black Lives Matter thing was a real poignant topic, especially in America. Maybe not in the UK, but in America for sure, it's a big topic of discussion. So you hear people talking about it a lot in passing in podcasts, sometimes a bit, redacted, and they wouldn't make great points about it. But it was definitely something you definitely hear them talking about. And you would imagine, especially on the Fire and the Kid at the time, when Chappelle and Malik were on it, they would probably be quite interesting people to hear about all that stuff in it, because Chappelle's not your typical black guy, right? He did cheerleading. He got adopted by a white family. He's into fucking hardcore bands and shit. It'll be quite interesting to hear what he has to say about Black Lives Matter and, police brutality in general. It'll be quite interesting to hear it. Also, the same with Malik B, right? He's clearly from, where's he from in LA? He's from Watts or something. He's from like a really bad neighborhood. He's obviously seen some interesting and bad shit in his life. He's done a bit of boxing. He's now trying to progress into the Hollywood thing. Those would actually be some interesting perspectives to get from the whole Black Lives Matter thing, right? A guy that's had experience living with or in a predominantly white sort of neighborhood and growing up around people who are maybe non-black in that terms, and Malik, who's kind of trying to progress himself and make himself better by exploring himself, whatever it may be, right? And for some reason, Brendan didn't want to talk about it. Now, personally for me, my opinion, I've always thought that for some reason, I don't know what it is, maybe it's the fact that Brendan feels like, yeah, let's put it out there. Fuck it. Maybe, right? I think the reason why Brendan's always been a bit weird when it comes to black people has been because it stems back from his football days. Because I remember when I used to watch the show, again, this is from a fan. This is only a fan would know this shit. I remember when he used to talk about his football career back in the day, he spoke about it with a lot of, especially when he wasn't really doing comedy seriously, he spoke about it with a lot of regret. Now he obviously tries to retcon it and tries to reinvent the story, and he try to make it seem like he was always wanting to be a stand-up comedian and fucking Jim Carrey was my hero and all this fucking nonsense. But in the early days of the Fire and the Kid subreddit, he was always adamant that he always wanted to be a professional football player. That was his dream. His dad was pushing him to do it. He wanted to do it, and all his friends became professional. Who's that guy he talks about? Someone called Kloppenstein or Kloppenstein, some American football player that became really successful too. That was always his career. And I feel like at the time when he was speaking about it, he had a bit of a resentment in his heart that he didn't make it, and he feels like he didn't make it because a lot of the guys that basically made it ahead of him were really athletic black dudes, right? Who took his position, and he's always had, I feel like, a bit of resentment about black athletes and black people in general because he feels like they didn't allow him to achieve his dream. Because maybe if he grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't maybe predominantly black, or that in a team. Because I imagine if you play football because I don't know about anything about football, but I'd imagine if you did play football in an area in America that wasn't predominantly black, you probably have more chance to make it in that team because you don't have to compete against so many fucking freak athletes, right? Or people that are susceptible to be good at fucking running and fucking running through people, right? Or whatever, or throwing a ball really far. So he probably has a bit of a thing about it. And then if you fast forward, that weird comment that he made about fucking the UFC people, right? The commentators, when they had an all-black cast, and he was like, "We get it, UFC, we get it. You want to be fucking inclusive." It was so weird and so out of the blue that it definitely made me feel like this guy definitely has some interesting opinions about black people, let's say, right? That's what I'd say. I wouldn't go as far as saying he's a racist or whatever, but I definitely think he has a real weird way he interacts with black. And if you remember the early episodes of The Fire and the Kid with Malik B and Chappelle on it, he was really odd with them. I also remember when Brian Callen was on the show, and Brian Callen would always talk about fucking he'd always talk about Malik. Brendan would always talk about it. Brendan wouldn't really respond really well. He'd always kind of talk about Malik with a bit of hate in his heart. And I remember Brian being like, "Oh yeah, Malik, there's this guy who I met, who I won't say mentoring, but he kind of was like, happy that he was kind of taking him under his wing, how talented he was, like talking about how he's fit and he's got a six-pack and he looks amazing and whatever, Brian does when he's kind of, trying to pretend like he's not gay." And I remember Brendan not responding well at all. He didn't really, react well to it, try to basically act like, "Nah, I don't really care. I mean, this guy, fuck him. Who is he?" Like, always was a little bit standoffish when it came to Malik. So which was no surprise when he ended up firing him, because I felt like he never liked Malik in the first place, which might explain why he liked Chappelle, because Chappelle was like a fucking human Labrador. Do you know what I mean? He was basically, he didn't really have any opinions of his own. He didn't really say anything interesting. Everything was a fucking surprise. He didn't know what fucking Game of Thrones. Like, he just, I mean? Just, I don't know what he does every day, but he didn't really seem like somebody that had many interests outside of what he likes, in terms of bands, do fucking backflips and stuff, or whatever else it may be. But I'm not surprised about this. I honestly am not surprised, because I always felt like Brendan was a little bit weird when it came to the blacks, in my opinion. He kind of comes across like somebody that doesn't really spend a lot of time around black people, maybe doesn't like them, has some preconceived notions about them, went through a bad experience. I don't know, but there's definitely something there. And I think it stems from the football days, because he definitely wanted to be a professional footballer more than a comedian, and his dream was completely, incinerated or stopped because of those really freakish athletic black dudes that were in front of him, that obviously were picked before him in a team, blah, 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 blah. But still, absolutely nuts allegation to put out there. I just wish Malik would have said this stuff earlier on, because it would have, been far better for him. But he was too scared and afraid to say anything. And now, many, many years after the whole shebang and many things have passed, he's now coming out and saying it. Which, again, if you're being a Brendan fan, you would say maybe it's a bit in poor taste that he's saying all this stuff now. I mean, what is it helping to do? And, it's a bit pointless. It maybe seemed like he's on purpose, trying to bring him down in some way, shape, or form. Who knows? But still, I'm not surprised that Malik would say that. I got that impression anyway, and I just think it's nuts that he would stop them to talk about Black Lives Matter. But hey, what do I know? Malik got fired after Malik memed Schaub on T-Fat K. That was generally funny moment. Schaub couldn't have funny stuff on there. True. Kuche says, ironically, they both married Latina women. Oh, really? Is Malik's wife Latina? Okay, I thought she was like what you call it? Texas white, like a white lady. Kuche says, Schaub and Krista, Stefano often mention how their preferred type is black chicks. Yes, very true. Yeah, I'm sure Brendan doesn't mind a black chick, I'm sure, but I definitely don't think he likes black men, for sure, no way. Schaub was trying to ride the right-wing grift at all time. If Chappelle and Malik started talking seriously about BLM, they would have lost half the audience. Yeah, true. Yeah, but Brendan's not right-wing. He hasn't got the balls to be right-wing. He tries to present to be right-wing and to have that grift, but he doesn't really have any opinions that he was willing to stand on. Even the COVID stuff, he's a bit pussy to say, I'm not vaccinated, I don't believe in vaccinations, I believe it's fucking mind control, it's the government overstepping on our liberty. He doesn't say any of the fucking talking points that a right-wing person would say. He doesn't stand on anything. He just is pussy to say it and then just kind of hides behind some certain things. So yeah, the grift is nothing. I haven't seen this. He's Magnet Thatcher says he's only feels because he sees himself in Manti. But yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Martin Moose says he was grifting. He's not right or left. He's full blown redacted. Yeah, true. Oh, cool. Okay, Uche is not talking about Malik. Okay, cool. I thought I'm pretty sure I remember Malik saying he was married to some white lady, but maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. Who fucking cares? Let's move along quickly. What's the other thing I wanted to talk about here? I've been going for a while, isn't it? It's fucking nearly 2 hours, I think. I've been absolutely rabbiting off of the mouth. And again, I'm not on any Adderall, not on any Coke, not on any Ket, not on anything. Just pure water, and I'm absolutely blubbering here. Madness. But yeah, so this is the clip taken from the fucking Tough Mudder that they did, right? It's just tough to do a Tough Mudder in 2022. You have to be. This is the most like basic bitch thing to do. Again, pardon me to the ladies in the chat. This is the definition of basic bitch. I think it's equivalent to going to those festivals. What are those festivals that people go to? Those festivals where you wear all white and then they throw fucking paint or dust in the air and it gets making all coloured and shit. What's that shit that basic girls love doing? And you post pictures of yourself on Instagram like covered in paint. Like, what's that nonsense that people do? What is it called? Is it called like flower power? Rainbow party? I don't know. They do them everywhere. You know those things I'm talking about? Where people go dressed in white and you go get covered in paint, or you go and get chuck tomatoes at yourself and shit. This is like the boy version of it, right? This Tough Mudders. They're the boy version of those fucking dressing in all white things. Because people fucking, they jump in the mud on purpose so that they can go and put their picture online. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember that one picture? There was a picture I remember when Brendan did the first Tough Mudder where he looked like he clearly put mud on his face and then so he could look like he got, because he didn't look natural because his eyes were fucking covered. Like, that's it. Colorfest. Yeah, exactly, Jack Mudder. Colorfest. I don't suck. So honestly, Tough Mudders are different. Because you know what I remember Tough Mudders? I remember Tough Mudders from when I used to listen to who's the guy that founded because I remember if I remember correctly, Tough Mudders is an offshoot of this other thing called Spartan Race or Spartan Run. That's made by this guy that's really cringy. He's a kind of a self-help motivational guru fitness guy, and he has his own podcast. I remember I used to listen to it ages ago. This was like when I used to listen to Gary Vee, like 10 years ago or something, when I first used to go into CrossFit. There was this obstacle course thing happening, right? And he used to do this thing called Spartan Run, where you'd go on this kind of assault course. I was like, sometimes it was like 5K. It was pretty long, right? You'd go these crazy things, and it was like a Navy SEALs fucking camp thing for like regular guys that work office jobs, right? That kind of thing, right? Guys that couldn't get their dicks hard and need to have a little bit of an encouragement and go to these weird things and bro out with people, you know, whatever they'd go and do. And then I remember Tough Mudder was then the kind of general public version of Spartan Race, because Spartan Run, Spartan Race was a bit hard and a bit more aggressive. So they have these little things, and I'm pretty sure Tough Mudder is like a mile. It's fucking short. It's like 800 meters. I don't know what it is. It's a short course. So you know, you have these mums going on these things, and it's just honestly, it's the definition of lame. Like you could never catch me dead doing a fucking Tough Mudder, especially in 2022. Maybe when it started in 2015, I don't know, whenever it started, 2015, 2013. But in 2022. Going to put on your fucking shorts and jumping into mud and pretending you're fucking, you know, on some assault course. Yeah, that's the guy, Joe DeSena. Yes, Kyler. I used to listen to this guy back in the day on the podcast, and he had this show. But I don't know. Let's just play the clip. This is fucking lame. And you can tell how lame it is because you got this guy at the corner, right? Whoever this fucking redact is, with his beating his chest like he's going to war or something. Right, and then he decides to jump into the thing and make a show of himself. Topless. Oh my god, that's brutal. Was that barbed wire that's hanging on the thing? And he catches his beard in it. Oh. Let's do it again. Holy shit. And of course, Brendan gets on right down below, wants to be covered in mud so he can add it to the fucking Instagram reel pictures. The guy gets up again. What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? Honestly, what the fuck is he doing? Someone please answer me. Why is he slithering on the floor like that? You couldn't pay me enough to do this shit. You couldn't pay me. This is legitimately some of the lame. You know what? Actually, I'll take it back. All that color fest stuff with the wearing white and the chucking the powder and the paint over yourself. That's actually cooler than this. Because at least there you get to kind of let your hair down. You get to not to take yourself too seriously. You go in an actual group of friends. You go and listen to cool music. Everyone's laughing and smiling. You get to chuck some paint on yourself. And for one day in your life, you get to kind of, especially if you're really OCD and really type A, and you don't have to get yourself dirty and stuff, and you're a bit of a fucking clean freak, you get to kind of let your guard down a little bit and have a bit of fun. That color fest might be actually cooler than this shit. It may be. Because these are grown adult men who are pretending they're in the fucking Navy SEALs or some shit on some assault course that isn't really an assault course, really. Like, I don't know. I don't know. You couldn't catch me dead in it. You couldn't catch me dead doing this stuff. I swear to God, you couldn't catch me dead doing it. But the guy with a beard, honestly, catching it on the thing and then just continuing and beating his chest like a redact is absolutely incredible. You've got to fucking love it, innit? But yeah, we continue on. This is fucking hilarious. Someone posted this on the thing. This is the kind of pinnacle of Brendan Schaub's lies, isn't it? Right? This is after the whole like the Den theatre cancellation thing. This is the post that someone posted in the subreddit. This is fucking incredible. Peak redact. Cancels show because he sells no tickets, jumps on an already full lineup, pretends he packed the house out on a day's notice, and he wonders why he almost 100k homeless cats loathe him. Which is a really good point to make, to be honest. You have to be honest. It's a fucking really, really good point. Because if you remember correctly, when you made the announcement video, he said that he was going to do 20 minutes at Laugh Factory, right? So he then does 20 minutes at Laugh Factory last minute, but then look at the caption. Chicago, on a day's notice, 2 packed shows, thanks for the love. So he makes it, again, very clever. He doesn't say he packed the show, sold it out, but he's given the impression that he was able to pack and sell out these shows on a day's notice, when clearly he just went up on someone else's lineup. Fucking incredible. I honestly think, actually, I could learn something from the way he lies. I could probably be way more successful if I embellished the things that I did and presented myself to be far more successful than I actually am. Right? That would actually be a good thing for me in my career, for sure. I'm pretty sure of it. Like, I could actually do many good things if I did that. But, you know, I've got too much self-awareness and I feel too much shame to do such a thing. Oh, fuck, you know, Eric C's back in the chat. Big up Eric C, Manchester's blue. Oh, I fucking hate when he's here. He constantly reminds me of how terrible Man United are and how amazing Man City are a club and how far away we are in terms of competing with each other. But hey, Eric C, great to see you back in the chat regardless.
What didn't they want you to say?
Oh no.
Shit.
Stop there. Let's not play that again. What's our fans going to play here? Let me continue on. What's this? Gets emotional about athletes getting made fun online. We played that already. Oh, let's play this. This is a clip from what? This is a clip taken from Fig Boy, right? Figgy Boy. And I guess he's interviewing somebody connected with One Championship. Maybe this is the founder, CEO, I'm not really too sure. Let's see what he has to say and then we can comment along the way. I don't like to react to these beforehand. I like to see them fresh so I can maybe have a somewhat fresh interpretation of the events going on screen here. But let's see what this guy has to say, and hopefully it's somewhat redacted so we can laugh.
Oh, got the food. It looks delicious. You've already got started in yours. I don't blame you. Now, I want to be very upfront, Rich. I was trying to copy your diet, and then I saw Andrew's burrito, and I was like,
have you ever seen any other man, like humanoid, male, with actual balls and a penis, who talks this much about dieting? it's one thing to talk about dieting a lot because you're into it and because you're trying interesting things and you're about what's that thing called? Human optimization, as fucking Tim Ferriss would say, right? And you're always trying to hack yourself and, trying to figure out new things of how to push yourself physically, mentally, blah, 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 sports performance. But he talks about diet so often, but never follows through. Like, how long has he consistently done like fucking keto? Like, for real keto? How long has he consistently done carnivore diet? All these things he talks about, he just speaks about them, says how he's on them, say how he's strict, but then everything that he does on screen is the complete opposite. Eats loads of fucking burritos, loads of carbs, donuts and shit, drinking loads of alcohol. It's like, why are you talking about dieting so much when you don't do it? Just do like what the rest of us do. Make the best of what you can with what you're given and then go from there. Why is this constant need to talk about dieting when you don't do? I don't know what it is, especially as a former professional athlete. You'd imagine he'd be a little bit more, adept at kind of handling temptation or having some sort of willpower, but he has none. Maybe this is actually, maybe the way he struggles with food is maybe an indication that he was never actually going to ever be an elite athlete. Because you maybe have to have that element in you. Either you're one of those kind of guys like the Ocho Cinco dude, right? Who says he eats McDonald's and shit, but is just a freak athlete. Or you're somebody who kind of has the ability to sort of like turn it on when you're a professional athlete and then turn it off when you're not. But you then did, when you were a professional, you did turn it on. Because if you look at Brendan, even in the UFC, he was never really ripped. He was never really jacked. He always looked a bit pudgy. He was maybe in better shape than he is now, but he was never like, he never looked like the UFC fighters how they look now. The UFC fighters look like, you can legitimately fucking, grate some cheese on their abs. I mean, they're always ripped, regardless unless they're fucking super heavy, unless they're fucking heavyweights. But still, they looked really muscular underneath that flub, whereas Brendan always just looked a bit puffy and soft looking. So maybe that's the reason why, because he just never had that real thing about him to be a killer and just stick to a thing and not really moan about it. Because he speaks about dieting so often. It's so weird. I don't really get it, really.
Listen, I will trade you this chia pudding for half of your burrito. Before Rich recognizes what's going on.
We could send somebody out to go get a burrito order for you.
I was trying to get with your diet, man. I'm just not made for that life.
I don't think a half a burrito is going to be enough for you. I think you're going to need another burrito.
You know what? I actually don't eat that much. You know what? Here's the thing.
I don't eat that much. That's how you know he's a real fatty on the inside. Because I know I've been a real fatty myself over my time. And one of the things that fatties do is self-denial. Self-denial, self-delusion. You only have to look at somebody like Wings of Redemption. He'll say that he doesn't eat too much. I only have one meal a day. It's like, no, you don't. We know you can't weigh 400 pounds plus and have one meal a day. It doesn't work that way. So this is the first thing a fatty actually does. Do you know what I mean? Is that you lie about your consumption and what you actually eat to delude yourself that you're not actually as fat as you think you are, or as fat as people will see you as.
I've been carnivore. I cheat here. And then if I'm like with my kids at the movie, I'll cheat on my.
So you cheat here, that's once a week. If you have your kids at the movie, that's at least once a week too. So that's at least two occasions in a month that you're cheating. So what's the point? You're not dieting, you're not.
Carnivore diet, but since carnivore, like I'm messing up the brand, man. I'm becoming, thin boy. It's not good. It's not.
What? No, you're not.
Good. It's gonna ruin the business.
What do you weigh now?
Like today, I'm currently probably like 247,
okay.
246. But I was 272.
But you look good.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So do you.
How many calories you eat in a day?
Couldn't tell you. Dude, sometimes I'll intermittent fast during the morning, and then especially like a Monday or two.
This might be one of the most. Again, I'm not saying that I am fucking blockbuster level entertainment. I'm not saying that I'm providing you with fucking Steven Spielberg quality content here or direction or production, but this legitimately might be one of the most boring podcast clips I've ever seen in my entire life. This might be like, what? What is this? What the fuck is this, sir? What the fuck is this? Please tell me. This might be one of the most boring things I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't believe what I'm watching here. They're gossiping about fucking dieting and calories. I don't know.
Is back at FPS pre-boot camp. Wait.
Big up Jimmy Heart's Purple Rain. Big up for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate you. Ring goes back. Yo, Wings of Redemption. I'm just really. It's really okay. I'm gonna stop watching this clip. I don't give a fuck. This is fucking boring. I should have screened it beforehand. I'm sorry for boring you guys. But Wings of Redemption is amazing because he genuinely believes that he's under 500 pounds. He definitely thinks he's under 450 even. I'm sure I saw a clip of him saying he thinks he's 429. It's like, no, you're not. You're not 429. I love the clip of him saying, all my weight is here, as if like all the weight isn't at the back or the front or the legs or the thighs or the face, which is his weight is at the front of his belly. It's fucking delusional. But it must be quite brutal to live in a household that he does. Like his wife at the moment, Kelly's losing loads of weight. She's on Weight Watchers. She's doing walks every morning and stuff, watching what she eats. It must be hard to be living in a house with somebody that's actually losing weight and you're not. It's like, ugh, must be brutal. Anyways, continue. We got a clip here with what's his name? What show is he on? Chris D'Elia's on a show with the guy. I forgot his name. He's really funny too. I actually like his podcast. It's very well produced and stuff. I love the little skits and the clips he does when he snaps his fingers and it goes to another scene, or he does the commercial for his parents' carpet business. It's fucking incredible. I really do like it. It's really well put together. I forgot his name though. But here's another clip of him talking to Chris D'Elia, and I guess this is another example of Chris D'Elia and Brian Callen actually being friends. Because, of course, you know the famous clip of Brian Callen post Chris D'Elia allegations saying, we never hung out, we were never friends. And he's damaged. Honestly, that might be one of the worst cases of damage control. Yes, his name, Rick Glassman. Sorry, I apologize. Rick Glassman. Really good show. I really recommend you check it out. But Brian Callen's kind of attempt to try to distance himself from Chris D'Elia might be one of the worst own goals I think I've ever seen. In an attempt to distance himself and to kind of bury Chris D'Elia, because he didn't want to be associated with somebody that's diddling underage kids allegedly. Then the following week, for him to get exposed or to get alleged that he's raped somebody, which I think is like far. I'm comparing fucking Satan to fucking Hitler, but honestly, I think being accused of rape is far worse than diddling kids. Because at least with the diddling kids, you can make up some reason that you're into underage girl. I don't know. You're into very young girls and maybe you got tricked by somebody because they lied about their age. But to be accused of rape is really intense. Like intense. Like that's something that's really hard to shake. So for him to go and say that he doesn't know who Chris D'Elia is and to get accused of rape, that's some pure, heavy duty, 2-ply, 5-ply, 10-ply fucking karma coming back at you. But anyway, this is Chris D'Elia on Rick Glassman's podcast. Let's play the clip.
Years ago, I wanted to try doing a podcast before I decided to do guests. Mm-hmm. And I asked you about it because you do a solo one.
Yeah.
And I tried a few and I never put them out.
I know.
I think I'm going to plug my Patreon. I'm going to start doing solos for Patreon.
Oh, that would be cool.
How do you feel about talking to people as a podcast instead of guests? Do you think you shine better if there isn't somebody to share it with? Because I guess now you do King, Sting, and Wing.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I like to find my people and then fuck around, but I think that I'm best just kind of bullshitting and talking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just me. Occasionally I'll find somebody like Brian.
Damn, Chris, man. He looks so much older now, isn't it? Like, again, he's never looked really young, but that's the thing. Let's just do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit, right? Compare this Chris D'Elia on that little picture there, right? That one. Compare it to this one. Again, is it maybe 3 years apart? Because Joe Rogan's old studio in LA, right? Look how, again, he doesn't look 21 or 19, don't get me wrong, but he looks way, way, way younger and full of life and verb and potential there than he does here, innit? And again, it's not like he's gained any weight, he's not got any fatter, his hair hasn't got any thinner, he's not losing his hair, he just looks exactly the same. He just looks way older and way more stressed and stuff. It's fucking crazy, isn't it, what a cancellation can do for you. That's why some people, when they say, cancel culture doesn't exist, it doesn't do anything, maybe in the long run it doesn't, and I don't really agree with cancel culture in general, personally for me. I feel like your fans should always be the ones that cancel you. I feel like your fans should be the only people to cancel you. I'm not a fan of corporations cancelling you, corporations blackballing you, or whatever it may be, or stopping your ability to feed your family. I feel like if your fans forgive you for whatever heinous crime you did, it just is what it is. For instance, a good example is fucking DSP, Dark Side Phil. I absolutely detest and hate that guy. I think he's probably the most reprehensible and unlikable person online in the history of online content creation. I fucking hate Dark Side Phil to the nth degree. But I would never advocate for him to be cancelled. I always feel like if he's fucking dense, wake up and, realize that he's taking them for a ride and he's scamming them essentially, and hoodwinking them out of their money in order for him to pay his fucking bills and to pay his rent, then fair enough. But no one should be able to ban him from being able to make money just because they don't like him. Same with Chris, right? He might have done a really unforgivable thing or whatever it may be, but if his fans are fans of him, then it is what it is. But one thing cancel culture does do is that it does put you through a lot of stress, because you go from being a fairly normal dude enjoying your life doing what you're doing to suddenly everybody finding out about this weird sexual kink you have, everybody finding out about your deepest darkest secrets, everyone finding out about all these things you've sent online. Again, I can't imagine somebody leaking my fucking DMs to girls I've tried to hit up. Like, that must be so cringe and so awful. So it's all being exposed that way. There's a Alice Hamilton woman who seems to have a real boner for Chris and wants to bury him, so she's going at him constantly. So I'm sure that plays a part in him end up looking like that. Do you know what I mean? Because he doesn't look that, like, these are not that far apart, and he's aged terribly, man. Like, so if people say cancel culture doesn't do anything, fair enough, it doesn't. It's not going to end most people's careers. If you're successful enough, you can bounce back. Your fans will allow you. There's many other YouTubers out there who have done crazy things, and their fans just keep loving them. It is what it is. I think that's the beauty of kind of content creation nowadays. But one thing it does do, it does stress you out. Like, it does. Excuse me, Jess, is that right? They banned Alice. No way. Alice Hamilton's been banned. No way. No way. I'm gonna check that out right now. Alice Hamilton's been banned. I was gonna check her out actually. Alice Hamilton, comedian, Twitter. Let's see. They banned her. Well, I guess for what's that word called? What's her name? She got banned. Where is she? What they banned her for? What's that thing they called again? Not bullying, but what's it called? There's a term they use online. If you keep, is it harassment or something? They banned her for harassment. Let's see. Oh my god. No, she was going hard in the paint at Chris. She was like posting those DMs from people. Was it OnlyFans models or something? I don't know what it was. I wasn't reading through the entire thing because it got a bit dark and it made me maybe bummed me out a bit. But she was going hard in the paint at Chris D'Elia, boy. She did not want to let up on him at all. Let's see. Has she posted anything in a while? What she said? So I guess she's got suspended probably, innit? So she's probably not going to be able to post on her account for a while. Maybe they gave her a ban in terms of posting. But she was going at him a lot, boy. What's the last post that she made here? My computer's going slow, don't blame me. August the 29th, retweet. Okay, so a couple of days ago. Yeah, so she's, I guess, not tweeted anything in a while, I guess, in a couple of days. Yeah, August 29th. Look at this post she made about Chris D'Elia. Staff from comedy clubs that D'Elia's plays always reach out to me to tell me how everyone hates D'Elia and talk shit about him being a hack rapist, paedophile behind his back. Jesus Christ, Alice Hamilton. She fucking hates Chris so much. And I remember seeing a post about her going at fucking Chris D'Elia's wife also. Like, oh, how can you be with an abuser, blah, blah, blah. She does not like that man. Witness me. What is it? There's many more. Let's see. Successful male comedians. What is this? Deaf Noodles, okay. Anything else about Chrissy I can quickly see before I move on? But yeah, big up Alice Hamilton, man. She is definitely got the foot on her neck. So yeah, that's probably the reason why you're gonna be stressed out, do you know what I mean? If you've got someone like that kind of coming after you consistently, foot on your neck, trying to fucking beat you up. Okay, just as I know her, so I can ask her what the band was called. I'm going to interview her on the chat on my channel. Okay, cool, awesome. When you do interview, yeah, I'm going to check that. I'm going to keep an eye out for that one. I want to hear what she has to say because I'm curious to see I'm curious to know what her real end goal is, because it feels like to me, unfortunately, she's fighting a what's that word called? Is it losers? Whatever that term is called. She's fighting a fight she can't really win, it feels like. Because for the most part, people don't really care. Because in most industries, you would imagine if you got accused of rape, or if you got accused of trying to touch up or trying to have sexual relations with girls that are underage or close to underage, that would be the legitimate end of your career in the industry. Forget your podcast, you can do what you want. But industry-wise, in terms of getting booking, you wouldn't get any more bookings. You're done. You know what I mean? But clearly, they're not done. Chris is back out doing shows. Brian's out doing shows again. So in general, the comedy industry doesn't necessarily care as much as they pretend they do care. So for all the good work that Alice Hamilton's doing by bringing all these instances and allegations and cases to light regarding Chris and these alleged instances, it is what it is. It's just people just hear them, they read them, they just keep it moving. It doesn't really move the needle, you know? That's the only thing about it that's really concerning. So as much as it's good to see her doing it, I do feel like she's like pissing into the wind a little bit. People just don't seem to care. They just really don't. Like, they really don't. Which is interesting too, because you'd imagine, this is my kind of, again, I don't have any knowledge of this whatsoever, but imagine the comedy community is probably similar to my kind of industry in terms of nightlife and clubs. I'd imagine in the comedy community, which is kind of hospitality adjacent, there's probably a lot of women that work in the back end of things, that help run the whole situation in terms of running clubs, in terms of working behind the bar, working the kitchen, being wait staff, doing the door, like just in terms of just the inner workings, the nuts and bolts of that industry. There's a lot of women there. But for some reason, even though there's a lot of women in the industry, maybe not in front of the mic and stuff on stage, there's a disproportionate amount of men, for some reason, it doesn't seem to hit as much as it should do. These accusations of like assault and stuff, people just don't seem to give a shit. I wonder why. In general, comedians seem to be able to get with absolute murder. Like, they're just, you know, for the most part, I get it if you've got your own podcast, right? If you're accused of what, you know, look at Louis C.K. At the time, everyone was freaking out about what he did, but he's got his own fan base already built in. They didn't really care about what he got accused of, and he was able to just bounce back in it pretty easily. But the industry still hasn't forgiven him. That's fine, but your fans couldn't forgive you. But I think in general, in comedy, nowadays, the industry doesn't care and they can forgive you in enough time. And obviously your fans are always there for you anyway. So the only thing you do lose is like the industry Hollywood type of look and love. Which unfortunately for these guys, that's what they really want. I mean, I don't think Chris Lee and Brian Callen actually want to be comedians. I think they'd much prefer to be on the Hollywood circuit, doing red carpets, doing fucking films with Ryan Reynolds and all that sort of shit. Do you know what I mean? They don't really care to be stand-ups. Stand-ups is just a way to kind of become more famous to do the other thing, which is probably why they're never satisfied. But hey, maybe I'm psychoanalyzing too much. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, play the video. I paused it for way too long, innit? Fuck, I'm rambling.
That like we just fucking are so silly together and we love it, and people kind of
does that work because he plays submissive to you?
I don't know. Sometimes he doesn't, though. You know, sometimes he's just like, I'm the man, you know. But I guess it is.
It always feels like, I've only seen it so much.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But it does feel like him saying that always is like a little boy who's pumping his chest.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and this thing I do with, you know, Theo and Eric and Brendan is great. But I do think that like
is great. That's the most least encouraging endorsement of a show that you're on that ever, isn't it?
Podcast, just me. Also, like, not a lot of people do their solo ones, right? Like I don't.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he looks like a shell of his former self. I'm sure if you're one of the, you know, victims of his crimes, and maybe you're happy that he looks that way, but god damn, man, he has aged significantly in a very short space of time, and it's absolutely brutal. Let's end it with this. Actually, I thought this was quite hilarious. His inability to pronounce fucking Peloton, which is pretty cool. Let's see that. What is it? Yeah, this is a Telepon bike. This is fucking brilliant. I don't know, these pronunciations are awful, but listen to this.
No. You need Peloton, bro. Your boy here has a Telepon bike.
What?
Telepon bike, and I have the
Today, Junior?
No. You need Peloton, bro. Your boy here has a Telepon bike. A Telepon bike.
What?
Your boy here has a Telepon bike. A Telepon bike, and I have the
Today, Junior?
Honestly, man. Honestly. I've definitely missed something in my life in terms of a calling. I think the more redacted you come across, the more you're able to not pronounce words and not articulate your way some way is the best way to go about things. I don't know. I don't really know. And the thing that's incredible about him too is like, I think I showed it before in another episode of the stream. We played some interviews from him, like in the UFC, when he was absolutely getting his head ringed from left to right against heavyweights and losing a lot of them. and getting, knocked out in a really fucking, brutal way. And he was still able to talk pretty well. Like he was able to kind of, enunciate pretty easily, pronounce words and whatnot. Very like hold conversation. He seemed pretty bright and whatnot, pretty like switched on. And for some reason, over time, he's just gotten worse and worse. Even though his life is way more chill and I guess way less stressful than it would be fucking fighting men in his underwear in a cage somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what the reason is. Don't ask me why, but it's incredible. Oh yeah, this is also a good one. This is courtesy of Borrachina's Depot, right? I think most of you guys follow that account. This is Brendan Schaub comparing Bisbing to Rosa Parks. Incredible, man. What a guy.
Granted, Bisbing's 100% fucking British and is the reason why Leon Edwards is where he is today. Don't get it twisted. The UK scene would not be anywhere without what Michael Bisping has done. He is the pioneer. He's the fucking Rosa Parks of British fighters.
Okay, to give him a bit of a rope and to give him a bit of a help, I would say he was trying to look for, searching his Rolodex of references and people for pioneers, right? And he just pulled out Rosa Parks. But I don't think he meant Rosa Parks in terms of like what Rosa Parks is known for, right? Because I'm fucking from the UK and even I know Rosa Parks and the whole lot moving bus seat thing, whatever it may be. And if I'm not mistaken, the whole Rosa Parks thing wasn't even that she was sitting in a whites only seat. I think the law back then, the segregation laws were like white people always had the priority to sit down. So at the time when she was sitting down, a white person came on the bus and there were no more seats, or they went to sit on that seat, so she had to get up. But it wasn't like a white seat. I think it was like a black section, and she refused to get up. That's the whole point, right? I think so. I think that's the stipulation of it. But even I know that, right? And I'm not even from the fucking US, right? So he said fucking Rosa Parks. And the thing that makes it more funny is that Bisbing is fucking white. Yeah, he's not even black. So it's like it'd make more sense if he related it to another former UFC fighter who's black, who's also from the UK, in terms of maybe saying, hey, this fighter is the one that paved the way for Leon Edwards to be recognized as a fighter because he was the one that kind of fought for UK fighters to be respected as well as American fighters. I don't know, whatever, right? But him just saying Rosa Parks is fucking wild. And the fact that he has no one, this is the thing that's why he's not funny as a comedian, because if you said something as redacted as that, you should have somebody laughing at you, relentlessly laughing at you, taking a piss at you, so that you can then laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously, make a joke out of it, maybe create a bit from it. It shouldn't be if I point out to you that maybe Rosa Parks isn't the best example and you sound like an absolute idiota to say that you should be getting angry and wanting to fucking, Chris Benoit me because I mentioned it. Like, that's the weird thing about it. Like, this is a legitimate funny thing. It's a legit funny misstep. Laugh at yourself, keep it moving, but it's incapable of doing so. But Rosa Parks, Bisbing. Okay, buddy. People are saying in the chat, yeah, Jackie Robinson he meant to say. But yeah, Malcolm Trump is the Malcolm X of comedy. Oh.
What didn't they want you to say?
Oh shit!
Oh, man. Okay, let's pause that. So playing that again. But yeah, I think that's basically it for the most part. I don't think I have anything else to fucking talk about here. I'm gonna save maybe the other bits that I have to talk about here for another time. But yeah, I think that's a show, man. I've been going for about 2 hours already. Thanks again for tuning in to the Random Show episode number 44, part 2. It's been a pleasure to have your company. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for Cali B. Thank you for Rush. Thank you for Marty Moose, Andrew, Jess Fury, Dax Terax. Who else is in the chat here? I'm seeing Crep DJ. Thank you for DBA Dave. Everybody in the chat that's been hanging out. CV Good, Jack Miner, Coiler, Magnet Thatcher, Ryu Ken, Free T-shirt, Jimmy Hart's Purple Rain, Crip DJ, like so many people that have been tuning into the chat. Honestly, big up all of you guys, big up all of you ladies, everyone that was tuning in and hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you. And if it's your first time tuning into the show, please make sure that you like the stream for me. If you enjoyed what you see and you want to come back for more, then why not click the subscribe button? If you want to join the channel, I think memberships are open, but I don't really have anything special on there. But if you want to anyway, then join there. If you want to support the Patreon, you can. If you want to join in to the podcast I put out, the AgostinhoZinga show, you can support that also. But just in general, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate each and every one of you. It's been an absolute blast. I'll probably do another one on the weekend, maybe, probably on a Friday or maybe a Saturday. I'll have to decide. And as per usual, if you want to join the Discord where I put all my fucking updates on there, I announce when I'm going to do the show ahead of time. So check out the Discord. There's already a nice little community on there already. The link is in the description. Join the Discord, engage, send me recommendations. Again, if you have recommendations on clips you want me to check out, send them in the Discord too. I'll be able to add them to my list of stuff that I put in my links and whatnot, and we're able to do the show that way. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Elaine Theodora. If you want to send me links, then please do it via the Discord. If you don't want to join Discord and you hate it, then please send me the link. You know, you can tweet it to me, you can send it to me via Instagram DMs, and I'll check it out that way. But I'm pushing people to go into Discord, so we've got like one main place. But if you don't like Discord, then feel free to send it to me on any social media platform that I'm on, from Twitter to Instagram. I'll definitely check that out if you send it over to me. But until next time, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company. I do really appreciate and enjoy it. I don't take it for granted because I'm just some idiot talking into a fucking USB microphone. So the fact that you guys come out in your droves to check me out so we can laugh at all this redacted nonsense that we're all too heavily invested in. We all should have hobbies. We all should have big, loving, gargantuan families and dogs running all over the place and kids climbing all over the walls and partners that can't keep their hands off of us. But instead we're here talking about this nonsense. So clearly we are all redacted in our own ways. That's the way to be. Redacted together is better than redacted alone. Thank you. And big up everybody that's in the chat and tuned in. I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care. Be safe, everybody.